Yep, okay. Oh. Audio check. No, it's loading. You should actually prank him by changing all of the inputs when you're done. Oh no, just change everything when you're done, and then X button or something. Yeah, you should absolutely do that. I know. Bomb used to do that because he's only got access to one arm, right? So you'd have to have like downshift on the left paddle, but like upshift on like the whatever button his left thumb could reach. Yeah, you made it. You had to make it work. Anyway, imagine having to change that mid-race. It's like, oh no, the downshift paddle's broken. Quickly enter the config, change it to R3 or something. Oh, of course, you can't anymore, can you? Anyway. Oh. You used to be able to do fun stuff like that. Fun stuff like the final round. It is round 8. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final race of the final round of Season 2 of the AequepaX Endurance Series. This is the AequepaX Racing GT World Endurance Series. Championship, not series. What am I saying? Anyway, so we have already finished the first of the 2 races here today, the final showdown now. But unfortunately for them, but unfortunately for the drama, it appears the Stocilla Racing team have unofficially, because all results are unofficial until various protests and whatnot are taken care of, have unofficially wrapped up the title in the first race here today. It was very unlikely they were going to lose the championship, but we're hoping they could go all the way to the final race of the final round. But alas, they have succeeded in their bid to claim P1. I believe the M6 Clockwork car has also all but locked up P2, barring serious drama, no commentators' curses, hopefully. But the real drama that we are expecting in Championship Land is for third place, as I think it's the AequepaX racing car in is it the Genesis? Yeah, the Genesis and the Corvette Clockwork car are basically on top of each other for points for position 3. So basically, the winner of that little duel will be the one who takes home third place in the championship. So that'll be GT Racer 22 in the Clockwork car, who I saw earlier, and it will be is it Joker in the Genesis? Yes, and Joker Man, who's had some really impressive stints in that car in the second half of the season. He's had a couple of race wins, so it's going to be a straight fight between those two for third place in the championship. The other championship scenarios, I have no idea about. I only had intel based on the team that was telling me where they were in those fights. But that is the highest championship position we know that is definitely live. I'm sure there are others, but with the race 1 results, I don't know them. We'll have to figure this one out after the race. But for the moment, we'll just be dealing with the race as it stands in front of us, and the only championship fight we know is basically whoever comes out on top between the two of them gets the championship position. So I don't know who won the first race to figure out who's pole, but so it was Stocilla, so they won to claim the championship. So Nibbles will start on pole position for this race. in that lovely McLaren. They've used it very effectively all season. Just great tyre wear, great pace. They've used it. They haven't just used their ability to keep the tyres left. They've used really strong strategies with that freedom that it's given them. They've done very clever things, made half stints work by going longer and using the softer tyre when others couldn't. So they've really abused the advantages that car has to make a really good championship run, and it's really paid off for them. With the race starting at top of the hour, we've only got less than a minute left before we begin. Looks like we have 9 drivers for this stint, assuming I haven't somehow missed a car and then lag the lobby out and do all sorts of fun things, standard Australian connection stuff. But Mr. Slowly has been quick, Liam Thurso has been quick. Now that the AequepaX Racing boys have moved into the Aston Martin at the mid-season car change. I don't know many others. I think BMH, Big Mama, has also changed to the McLaren. I don't think they were in the McLaren before that. Speedman Charles has also very quick in the Corvette. And Harry Mopp in the BMW M6 hasn't had the best of runs when I've commentated, but apparently had a couple of podiums and a couple of good races when I was busy being sick. Shadow for Sledbikes Motorsport. Oh, was it top of the hour? Oh, so that's half an hour away. Oh, half past the hour. Sorry, bottom of the... Yeah, all right. Storm's making a good joke because I'm stupid. In the chat there with his, the Australians are upside down, therefore the top of the hour is the bottom of the hour. And I'm like, wait, what? Did it say top of the hour? I've lost my train of thought there. Thanks, Storm. Anyway, there we go. We are... I've got to back out, come back in, because that's how spectating works in this game. All right. Okay. So, Harry Mopp disappeared into the pits there. So that's a fun glitch to have. I'm guessing that means he's disconnected from my game. I don't know if he's disconnected from everyone's. But on stream, we have Nibbles ahead of Shadow, ahead of Joker, ahead of GT Racer. Oh, Shadow runs wide there. I'm not sure if he's running into an invisible Harry Mopp or if that is the way the race is going. But wide at turn 1. And Joker gets through. That's big for their fight for the championship with the Corvette behind them. And the Corvette also sneaks past Shadow. Yep, and it is just me disconnecting from Harry Mopp. So we will have no M6 on stream unless I back out and come back in, but I'll do that after the race sort of settles down a little bit. Because right now, all the racing should be happening as we sort the faster cars from second... from the first stint drivers and second stint drivers. Okay, so Harry is... So Storm is part of the Clockwork Motorsport team with Harry Mopp. And he's saying that people are driving clean through him, so I'm guessing it looks like he's disconnected and they don't know it. So that's a weird one. I've seen that before with individual cars desyncing from each other, but not the whole field. Storm is asking for a reset, but I have no idea where Harry is. Okay, so Harry has disconnected from the lobby while staying in the lobby. And we have a red flag. I promise it wasn't my fault. So everyone's going to have to back out. But it was a great start there from Nibbles in the Solo Racing Team car. And we will have to do a reset. Yep. I love this game. Oh, how do I trigger that? Come on, mate. Alright, so we have to wait for everyone to load back in. Potentially, if Harry is still not visible, he'll have to rejoin the lobby. And that will slightly delay our proceedings here. But yeah, as you saw, yep, Harry now leaves to rejoin. I just got totally sidetracked in my own head there as... yeah, so Shadow running wide at turn 2 there, coming back on, losing 2 spots, and still getting a penalty for track limits. So the track limit penalties are very unforgiving here, with the amount of time you have to lose off track being quite large, even though he lost 2 positions in the one corner. So worth noting that the penalties will be handed out very quickly and very aggressively for track limits here. Even though you've lost time, got dirty tyres, and lost time in the next corner, it appears that you have to be very on the money getting it right for the track limits. I've got Harry, but I don't have Shadow. Well, I don't have either of them. They're in the lobby, but we'll see when and if they join the track. I've got Harry. I'm still waiting on Shadow. We'll have to see if Groot sees Shadow as well, because if he doesn't, then it's probably me breaking everything, because it was working fine until I showed up. Worth noting that the... well done, Liam. Yeah, it was a very short race, short and sweet. Congrats, the Silver Racing team. They've won race 2. Hopefully... Okay, cool. I have now got all of them... Yeah, lots of tyre wear, obviously, in that first stint there. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I actually have 9 cars. I'm not sure what the restart procedure is. But I assume that everyone has read the rule book and knows how to line back up. All right, we're getting... Oh, this is classic Gran Turismo stuff of IC9. The old visibility check. This is some Gran Turismo 6 spec. GT6 spec, making sure everyone can see everyone else before we start racing. So we have Nibbles setting up. Nibbles setting up in pole position. GT Racer parked on the back. Harry exiting pit lane, now on track. Hashtag MTown ready to race. Bit of flair there. Interesting. So apparently there are thunderstorms in Groot's area, so that could be what's holding everything up, but I doubt it. That didn't seem like that. That was Harry disconnecting from all but the host, which is a very rare scenario where he was definitely still in the lobby on his end for longer than normal when that happens. Because normally if you disconnect and you're still in the lobby, you're there for about 10 seconds and you go, why has everyone crashed? And then very suddenly you disconnect from the lobby. But he was in there for basically the start of the race, through the entire first lap, shouting down the team radio. I don't know if that was lag, or did Harry not see Nibbles there, hanging out in the middle of the road? Might have been lag, because Nibbles doesn't have any damage either. Alrighty. I'll have to back out, and once the green flag drops, jump back in. Cool. Okay, so the game has no idea who first place is, but that won't matter. We'll go on board with Harry Mop, who's now second place, it seems, but Nibbles is a long way up the road. He's gone! Alright, so the restart hasn't gone entirely to plan, but oh, what a game. So it appears that everyone has been let go one after the other. So it's a huge lead for the Stesula car, and then a huge lead for Harry Mop. And then in third place we've got Shadow, Joker and GT Racer. So it hasn't quite launched different. I've seen this before where the guy, it was in an FIA Nations race, the guy who qualified 19th came flying through the grid before the start of the race and went on to steal third place because they were able to go the second the race started. Anyway, we'll go back to paying attention to the race at hand here. Joker now putting pressure on Shadow. He knows that if he wants third in the championship, he has to go forward and go forward quickly, leaving GT Racers behind. And he's putting that pressure on Shadow, trying to go around the outside here. Never going to get it done there, but you can set yourself up for a better run into Zhengxiao, the final real corner on the layout. And he just can't quite hold it flat and get the advantage there in the dirty air. But Joker now positioned really well through Zhengxiao. All about getting that exit, and he does. The Audi runs wide. He will now be able to slipstream through up the inside into turn one. But the Audi of Shadow blocks the inside, making Joker go the long way around. And they're catching up to Harrymop, and Harrymop is nowhere near Stossila. Stossila is gone. But it's side by side. Joker on the outside. GT Racer needs to be there. He needs to be able to sneak in and join this fight when these two resolve it. Joker round the outside, doesn't quite hold on there, and Shadow's able to get it back. Now, GT Racer with the run, needs to try and get past Joker. This is where he has to be. Not quite enough grip, though. And Joker with a much better run off turn 3. Now back to attacking Shadow. Will he make a dive? I don't think he will from back here. And GT Racer unable to do anything either. Those three are locked together. Right behind them, you've got Liam, Slowly, and Speedyman Charles. Those three are locked in combat. And Big Bummer off the back. We saw him turn into a really quick run after a shocking start earlier in the year. So I look forward to seeing him come back through. But for now, we'll stay with Shadow and Joker. Looks like the Audi is slower in the low-speed middle sector, but is very competitive elsewhere in the high-speed section. So the Audi looks like it's got an aerodynamic cornering advantage, but not a mechanical grip cornering advantage. As we see two trains of three. What will Joker do this time? Has to lift because of the aero understeer. Unable to get a run on Slowly and make it happen. But again, better run through Zhengxiao. The Audi Shadow runs wide this time, gives Joker the inside line, and you'll expect to see GT Racer to go straight with him up the inside. Take that slipstream, and yes, he does. Now you'd expect Joker to pull across and start giving Shadow some slipstream, and there it is. What will happen down into turn 1? Oh, Shadow goes back up the inside of GT Racer, and then bit of lag contact, and we are back side by side. They've managed to hang on. This is not good for GT Racer, who's about to get absolutely freight trained. There's Liam up the inside, using the slipstream. And GT Racer able to outbrake him into turn 4 and get it back. What happened to Shadow? He ran wide, and GT Racer goes through. So Clockwork up into 4th place, but they've lost a big ground. And he's got a 1-second penalty for running wide and losing positions. And he's got dirty tyres, so now he's been passed by Liam, and Mr. Slowly's up on him. Mr. Slowly up the inside into the slow hairpin. He's able to get it done. So Shadow has been freight trained. Makes one small mistake, and it is over for him. So he probably got dirty tyres back at turn 2 when he was pushed wide with the lag. After lag bumping GT Racer, he got lag bumped back. So they were close, but then suddenly the Audi pinged away from him. So it pinged away from the Corvette. And that means that he's run wide, got a half-second penalty, gone down to the next corner, braked, and then had no grip and got himself another penalty just by being off the road and not losing enough time, despite the fact that he's gone and lost positions. And now he has to serve that 1-second penalty, and somehow Big Mama has found himself 40 seconds down. What's going on? Oh, unless he's got a stock setup in there. So with that reset, he could have glitched his setup, because Big Mama was a very quick driver when he was on the comeback trail earlier in this season. Anyway, we'll go up to the leaders and find Nibbles. Oh, running wide at turn 4. That's a scary thing to do there, because you just get stuck and can't come back. Harry Mop chasing him down. But Nibbles is on mediums, worth noting. Nibbles on the medium tyres. Oh, but he's run. Oh, geez, if you touch the grass there, you can end up in the fence. So he is struggling on those mediums in this first stint. As a result, Harry Mott catching up the 4-second advantage that Nibbles was given off the start. And Joker now 3 seconds back as well. But he is the fastest man on track at the moment. GT Racer is a full 3 seconds down. That could be huge. And the front tyre wear is not good either on that Corvette. The Corvette's been very good for tyre wear this season, generally for front to rear balance. But, geez, the right side is going very aggressively on that car. And the left side is wearing front heavy. So a bit of understeer for looks of things in that Corvette for the first time this season. What can Joker do on this lap? I don't think he'll go faster, will he, with that much tyre wear? Interlagos, surprisingly heavy on tyre wear. Because you don't really get a break. You've got 2 long straights back to back, but then the whole infield section is just constant turning. So you end up with far more deg than you think. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got high-speed corners, mid-speed corners, low-speed corners, long straights, short straights. Apparently this was one of the tracks used for the BOP process in this game because it has so many different elements to it. But, yeah, making it a really good test of cars through all aspects. As we're now seeing Harry Mott getting closer to the lead, Joker getting closer to him. So we'll see if Harry Mott can get past Nibbles while the tyres are still good, or if Nibbles can hold him up until the softs begin to degrade, and then he can pull away on those medium tyres, and will Joker catch them? Join the fight, or will it be over and done before Joker gets there? And then he has to make his own attempt to try and pass the Stasila Racing team, who are currently leading and are currently champion-elect, barring any post-race nonsense. But for now, I feel pretty confident in saying they are the champions right now. And second place in the championship, also right behind them. But for this race, that doesn't matter. Right here, right now, they're here to win. It doesn't matter where they are in the championship. They just want to win today's race. Harry Mott, not particularly fussed about all that nonsense. He just wants to win. As we see him get within 2/10, he's in the slipstream. BMW not the best on top end, normally, but with the slipstream and the soft tyres, he might be able to do something here. Goes to the outside for turn 1. Does he think he can hang on? Will he go around the outside, or will he do a nice little switchback? Oh, just quite run out of road, unable to stay around the outside. He'll have to wait for another attempt. Gaining back, though, on the exit. He won't be close enough, I don't think, down the end. Oh, but Nibbles running wide. Just stays on the road. Won't get a penalty, won't get dirty tyres. But shows that he's pushing. Excuse me. Oh, jeez. Yeah, so the mediums will hang on, but as the temperatures drop, I think he'll go very, very long, and then he will hop in for some soft tyres later on, and up the inside through the long double AequepaX right-hander there. Just the soft tyre grip playing out for Harry Mott there to take the lead, which is very important for him because he has to pull away from Joker if he wants to win. Joker is the fastest man on track, doing 30.5s. Harry was only in the 31s, so 5 or 6 tenths a lap quicker for Joker in that Genesis. But will he have more tyre wear? We'll have a look later in the stint. Don't want to give away all the secrets just yet, as we are only 9 minutes into this 2-hour stint. Of course, there's the Interlagos spot. Oh, Nibbles running wide there, gets a really bad exit. That'll give Joker a huge opportunity to get past. Now Joker goes to the outside, same as Harry. He's also on the soft tyres. Will he be able to hang on this better compared to Harry? Interestingly, Nibbles staying in 5th gear, not using 6th. Joker unable to outbrake Nibbles, but is able to stay on the outside. A big oversteer for Nibbles, and then side by side, oh, bit of lag contact it looked like maybe, but Joker's able to get through. Nibbles hanging on, but with those medium tyres at this stage, not able to keep up with the pace of the boys in front. 32 on the previous lap, 33 on the previous lap, but 32s before that, so he's a good second slower than, a second and a half slower than Joker. More like a second slower to Harry Mott, and that's why they've been able to cruise on through. But we can see GT Racer is 5 seconds behind now. Unable to make that ground back up on Joker, and that could be huge in championship land. That could allow the AequepaX racing car to steal 3rd place in their fight, because I think it's close enough where maybe one position, if they're in 4th or 5th, is enough for the Clockwork to hold on. But otherwise, it will be advantage AequepaX Racing. So we see Mr. Slowly is 5 tenths ahead of Speedy Man Charles. But the Corvette and the Audi. Shadow is still on the mediums. Oh, he was on mediums, everyone else was on softs. That's why he was getting freight trained. That's why everyone was working so hard to pass him. Right, okay. That makes sense. So Shadow will go longer into this stint and be able to make back ground. Liam Thurso in that lovely Aston Martin. Needs to work his way forward to try and get in contention with the boys in front of him, which are Mr. Slowly and Speedy Man Charles. They have 31.6 and 31.5 between them, so very good lap times. Not slow at all as Mr. Slowly misses the apex there, and Speedy Man Charles gets in onto his slipstream. A good run here. Just needs to make sure it turns, stays flat through turn 3, is able to do so. Oh, Mr. Slowly running wide there. It's going to hurt his exit speed. They'll go to the inside. Mr. Slowly doesn't defend. Speedy Man Charles up the inside. No, doesn't get it done under brakes, but it looked like Slowly was deep. No, well done. Great driving. He's defended that one by just taking the car to the racing line as fast as possible. Perfect line. Speedy Man Charles unable to get up the inside there. Good respectable racing from both of them because Charles wasn't doing anything crazy and Mr. Slowly just hits his marks and is able to defend without defending. Love to see that kind of defense. Oh, you're going up the inside of me? Well, can you keep up with this braking? Oh, and Speedy Man Charles gets a 1 second penalty. He must have just dropped it off the back edge of that curb ever so slightly. 1 second penalty, dirty tyres. That's very unfortunate. Really, nothing he did there was worth a 1 second penalty. He didn't gain 7/10 of a second by falling off, cutting the track or anything. He's just been punished very aggressively for the Scuderia Chiara. Oh, and then Mr. Slowly gets a 5/10 penalty, but Speedy Man Charles has run wide, got stuck off the road, and then the penalty zones kicked in and punished him even harder. Oh, wow, that's really rough. He's now... Oh, and Shadow disconnects there as he was about to catch up to Speedy Man Charles. I didn't see it on the coverage, but it's 2 seconds between Harry and Joker. But yes, so Speedy Man Charles losing 4.5 seconds there to serve a 1 second penalty because of... Oh, and he's run wide. Oh, geez, he's going to get another penalty for that, as well as dirty tyres down here to turn 4. Ready for that. Plus 0.5 now. No, it's plus 1. Wow. And hopefully he stays on the road. Speedy Man Charles needs to just reset and calm down. We saw after he was, I think it was at Autopolis, he was bullied aggressively on lap 1 as everyone was just making dives, making moves, and he got very tilted, spun off the road by himself, and then after a quiet little stint, put some soft tyres on and blazed back through the field. I think he got back to 3rd or 4th by the end of that after being 20 seconds down basically after the first lap. So we know Speedy Man Charles is a very quick driver and can get the job done. He just needs to skip it on the road and not get penalties for really not gaining an advantage. But that's just the way the game is in terms of the automatic track limits. A bit like Formula 1 where Nico Hülkenberg was given a warning for falling off the track as he was pulling over to retire. And that was his third instance of violating the track limits, which was absolutely ridiculous. But that's the kind of nonsense we deal with and have to just see it through. As you see the lovely sunset over the Sao Paulo precinct of Brazil. We will, of course, disappear into the late evening, which should go relatively dark-ish. I'm not sure how dark it gets, but as we've seen in previous rounds, it gets pretty dark pretty quickly. But I don't know if Brazil has... So Interlagos has full darkness or not, but it's getting very orange on the horizon and the contrast is getting very weird, which sort of implies that it will get very dark by the end of this race, as we're only 15 minutes into a 2-hour race. So, still an hour and 45 to go, so we'll find out if it comes back to being light again with this much... with the sun change this much, you might go dark and then come light again. Anyway, let's find some of the action. As we see Joker not really able to catch Harry Mop just yet, and I would suggest that Nibbles, yeah, there we go, he's in the low 32s, Joker's in the 31.5s, he's not losing that much ground anymore. His front right tyre is almost gone though at the end here of lap 10. If he pits now, that would be like a 7-stop strategy. Surely you can get another lap out of that and probably cut a pit stop out somewhere. And yep, he stays to the right of the line and goes round again. I didn't see what the strategies were in the first stint, but something tells me that Nibbles with very high quality tyres is going a long way into this race, probably something in the region of half an hour. Whereas these guys, I don't think, can go much longer. Actually, no, they can't go half now. And GT Racer's in after 10 laps, and he's got a penalty. So he's just run out of tyres and has had to box. Yeah, 32.9. Absolutely cooked the fronts on this Corvette. Whereas Mr. Sully, a bit heavy on the rears. That's the good side of the car, the left side. Liam also in the Aston Martin. Oh, did he stay on the track? We'll find out in a moment if that's a penalty or if he has managed to just cling onto the back of the curb. And he's managed to cling onto the back of the curb, avoids a penalty. Well done there from Mr. Slowly. Looks like this is a very big tyre wear race more than a fuel race. We're seeing half-tank runs with that kind of thing. So, the quote-unquote cooler temperatures here not making much cooler running. I'm sure there's a pit stop to be saved by going to 18 minutes from 15, but geez, you're going to lose a lot of time doing it. Maybe the wear gets better as the stint goes on, now that you're in clean air, sort of picking your own lines rather than fighting everyone, but we'll have to wait and see. But the gap to Joker is now 4 seconds, and the lead gap is 3 seconds. So Nibbles still falling away. I thought he would be starting to come back about now. And Joker is in. Yeah, he's basically just run out of tyre here. I would have thought that Nibbles was starting to come back towards the leaders, and I guess he would have been had they hung out for another lap. And we'll probably watch Harry Mop come back towards Nibbles, and Joker will get a big undercut on Harry Mop here. He will be able to... Oh, but Nibbles runs wide. I don't know if that was lag that put him all the way over the curb. Have to wait and see. Does he get a penalty? No, so the lag had him visibly wider than he actually was. So half the battle is, of course, most of the drivers in this... Joker goes to the mediums. He's gone back to full fuel and onto the mediums. So he's decided that the softs are not doing the job in this phase of the race. It's too hot. There's too much degradation. As the Brazilian evening from Sao Paulo here at Interlagos is just cooking the tyres too much, but we're seeing more and more headlight effect, which probably means it's getting darker. But interesting strategy. So maybe Joker went soft just to try and get through that opening stage, buy some clean air. Now he can work around on mediums rather than having everyone fighting him in that first stint. Maybe that was always the strategy. Maybe that's the strategy they've adopted. But Harry Mop still pulling away from Nibbles there by 0.3 on this lap. So those mediums, although they're very durable by the look of things, probably twice as durable than the softs on the cars around him, they are still not that quick. Even completely worn softs are pulling away from these half to two-thirds remaining mediums, and Harry goes around again. So that's probably a pit stop that he's going to save over Joker. But of course, Joker is now in the medium, so maybe he won't be saving the pit stop. So... well, we'll have to wait and see, but I think Harry Mop's got himself on a strategy that's going to take him to second place here. I don't know how much time Nibbles will gain back, or if they can do one medium stint and then go to softs and make the rest of the race work and still save a pit stop or something. But this 8-second deficit they've got in the first stint, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But of course, remember, they were gifted a 4-second lead with the way that race started. So if anyone gets within 4 seconds of them, they can feel like they probably should have won that race with... a bit of a glitch off the start, but hey, it's a 2-hour race. It's a long way to go. We'll have to wait and see. Let's check back in with Mr. Slowly, and he's got very good tyres still, but on those mediums. Actually, no, not very good tyres at all, though, for mediums. He's basically in this lap, but he's gone further than those around him. We see Joker now on his mediums. 8 seconds clear of GT Racer in their fight for third in the championship. GT Racer going to have to find a way to either save those tyres or find some serious pace to make the tyre burnout worth it. Speedyman Charles has been in as well. Now looking to reset. He's now 4 seconds clear of Liam, who's also been through the pits in the previous lap. And Harry Mop is in the lead. Big Mama also been into the pits. 33-1. Yeah, it looks like he's starting to find his rhythm after a couple of mishaps, and then goes deep. Just as I say that, commentators cursed him. Them, I should say. I don't know if it's male or female, but it's default male because that's how badly the gender diversity is in motorsport. We don't even consider it. Mr. Sully in as well as Harry Mop. Harry Mop's tyres in great condition. Wow, he's done 13 laps and he had plenty of softs left. So that makes things very interesting. Nibbles continues on, but there is a great chance that Harry Mop, if Nibbles stays on these mediums, that Harry Mop can actually take this race back from him, even with the extra pit stops. Joker will come back out. He will have had an undercut advantage, but he was on medium, so a 32.2 there as a flying lap. I think Harry Mott was a 31.9 on the previous timed lap, so Joker probably technically losing ground there, and yep, the graph is now 5.3 seconds. It was about 3 before the pit stop, so Joker going to have to try and win this one back by taking fewer pit stops, as the tyre wear on that Genesis is just a little bit too aggressive here at Interlagos, and it appears that anyone who's slightly aggressive on tyres is very aggressive on tyres. So the McLaren, which is good on tyres, is fantastic on tyres. The BMW, which has never been really that good this season, apparently is doing fantastic today, but the Corvette is struggling by comparison on the Clockwork car. And I think Speedman Charles also with him, boxing at a similar time. So in the past, we've seen that nice neutral wear that the Corvette had was able to give it maybe an extra lap in these pit cycles compared to the guys around them. But today, not so much. So we would expect to see Nibbles in a couple of laps, I think, because he'll be out of fuel with only 20 litres left, and he's done 15 laps, which means his burn is, hang on, it's about 6 or 7 per lap, so I think he would get 2, maybe a third in, might be able to sneak a third lap in on the fuel, but only Nibbles will know with his calculations, because I'm not quite sure how much fuel he's got and what his fuel burn is. Can sort of estimate, but Harry Mop is carving into that lead, and he's getting darker for sure. We're starting to see stars. We will be in the darkness here in Interlagos, so maybe the first stint was going to be a little bit warmer, and then the second and third stints get cooler here. So maybe the mediums were the right strategy in the first stint, and then going to the softs, but it looks like, for now at least, that Stossila Racing Team have the lead. Have to see how it plays out on strategy, as the cars behind them are on softs, and then one has gone to medium, so we've got 3 different strategies in the top 3. 4th place not really in contention for this one, so we'll have to sort of keep an eye on the top 3, see if there's a battle out on track. Mr. Sully is now only 1.7 seconds behind Speedyman Charles, and Speedyman Charles has a penalty, which means when they come across start-finish line, these two will be very close to each other, because of course it takes much longer than 1 second to serve. Sorry, the effective loss for a 1 second penalty is much more than 1 second. You lose 1 second in the penalty zone, but you're now on the start, you're very early in a long straight, and you'll be losing time all the way down that straight. So we see that 1.7 second gap, and it's gone. Mr. Surly is now ahead of Speedyman Charles, but he should be able to tuck back in, get back in the slipstream, and fight on, as he has a pretty quick driver and a pretty quick car. Mr. Surly taking the narrow line there. Both cars getting the rear brakes to glow, which is a good thing for balance. As you can see, the Corvette kind of very even wear there, whereas the Audi in front, Mr. Sully, it will become rear bias deck, but he did go a lap or 2 longer, which means he has fresher tyres, and he's purple in Sector 1 compared to Joker's 30.5. Mr. Sully running a little wide, so does Speedyman Charles, but they stay nose-tail, 2.7 tenths. 0.2 tenths now, but unfortunately you won't be able to get up the inside into the long right-hand sweeper. Only a mistake can let you through there, or, as we saw earlier, brand new soft tyres compared to medium tyres. Both cars using all the road on the way in, all the curb in the first right-hand tight corner, then through the medium speed sweeper where all you ever do is understeer, 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 and you start creeping on the throttle, and suddenly you snap oversteer. This is Sully using a lot of rear end there, sliding the car around in the low speed, trying to stay ahead of Charles. Now that he's been given the position by those weird penalties, we'll have to see, does Charles have the pace down the straight, or can the Audi hang on? It was a good exit from Slowly. He pulled away slightly, but now as the speed comes up, the slipstream kicks in, and Charles will be coming. It's gone from 5 tenths down to 4. It'll be 3 below the line, but will it be 2 or 1 when we get down to turn 1? No, looks like he's not coming quite quick enough to make a pass. It's 2.5 in the braking zone. but he won't get it done into turn one. They both make the apex. Slowly a little wobble puts him on a not great line. I think that's just lag, that slide. But it's 3/10 coming through turn three. Able to stay within the track limits and get it closer. It's 2.5 tenths, it's 2 tenths, it's 1 tenth. He goes to the inside, but he won't be able to make that, I don't think. No, not quite. Slowly again, just putting it on the racing line and outbraking him. Speedman Charles not quite able to make the lunge, but he's got a great run here again, and I don't think he'll be able to make the pass. And then unfortunately the aero understeer, the wash you get, but he's managed to get onto a different line. He'll get clean air. Oh, I think Slowly's in trouble. Might have gone off the track there, might have got dirty tyres. No, he's hung on. Hasn't got a penalty either. He's done well there. It looked like he was very wide, but of course, I keep forgetting about the latency. So he's probably just hung on to track limits there, which means he doesn't get dirty tyres and he doesn't get a penalty, which would have absolutely ruined us of this fight. Ruined the fight and robbed us of it. See Big Mama ahead, coming up to get lapped. Another attempt here from Charles. Doesn't get a better exit. Slowly again with a stronger exit. He's a tenth further back this time. And without DRS or curves or whatever to try and get him any closer, he'll have to wait another lap to have another crack at it. As he'll be too far back at turn one. He's going to need a mistake from Mr. Slowly, or he's going to need some absolute magic under the brakes. And yeah, 4 tenths back, still not there. Loses a bit of ground there through turns 1 and 2. And Big Mama just hops out the way. Well done, thank you very much. That's now 6 tenths. Looks like Slowly just starting to pull away from the Corvette. I'd say that's probably the tyre wear kicking in, where Speedman Charles boxed earlier, which probably means that he's got a worse tyre wear coefficient, which means that as the stint goes on, the pace gap between them will only grow. And Nibbles still hasn't pitted because the gap to the lead is 39 seconds. And it's still the Finnish team, still a racing team, in the lead with STS Nibbles. I would expect him to be in this lap, and there he is in the pit lane on the track map, and he's completely out of fuel when he's come into the box at 27 minutes and 50 seconds, not quite able to go half an hour, meaning he has to do 3 more stops still, but, at a minimum, but he will be able to take them when and how he pleases with the massive advantage he has over everyone else. I think the last of the stoppers was 13, so he's done 5 extra laps, which means he can take soft tyres and still box a lap or 2 before everyone else. Interestingly, that it's actually showing the Stasulo car filling up on that screen. Normally it just sort of updates to live. He's only gone to 87, and there are the softs, I was going to say, and if he's only gone to 87, that probably means he's going to the soft tyre, as we see Speedman Charles up the inside of Mr. Slowly. Up the inside, around the outside. Did I miss all that because I was busy looking at numbers? Wow, that was very poor from me. But Mr. Slowly hangs on in 5th place there. Okay, no, so Slowly's defended and Charles gone on the outside. Right, that makes sense. Alright, and they're only 3 seconds behind Nibbles, who is 3 seconds behind GT Racer, who is now in 3rd place, but I would not expect to see him stay there with a pit stop probably imminent. And he's halfway through this set of tyres already. Must have figured out how to save them a little bit better, because I think he pitted at the end of lap 10 or something, so tyre wear much better this stint, but it appears that it's also much better on the Genesis, and he is only 2.4 seconds behind Harry Mop, so he was 5 seconds down, and Joker has been coming this stint. So the temperature obviously in that first stint was just very warm, and the second stint it must have just cooled off enough that those guys who were over the edge on tyre wear are now back inside the safe realm, because Joker has... Oh no, of course, Joker's on mediums. Sorry, I've completely lost the plot there. But you can see these lap times are still very strong with 32s and 31s. And he's made back 2.5 seconds on Harry Mop, who I thought was on soft. So Joker doing a fantastic job in this stint to bring back the time to the guys in front while not... So he's taking less pit stops and he's losing no time to do it. That's a fantastic stint for him. And he's only halfway through it. If he keeps this kind of pace up, that could actually be a winning strategy for Joker. Unless Harry's had some problems and made some mistakes. It looked like he was just pulling away here. So, not sure what's going on there, but it's a 10-second gap back to GT Racer. He's not having the best of days today. And yeah, that front right's starting to fall away quickly. So it looks like you've got a lot of tyre left, and then very, very rapidly you run out of tyre. We'll go back to the fight for 5th, because Nibbles hasn't quite caught GT Racer. Speedyman Charles trying once again on those soft tyres versus Mr. Slowly's mediums. So despite the fact that Charles is digging out on those softs, he's still got enough pace to stay on the rear wing of Mr. Slowly to try and get past, get back into 5th position. Mr. Slowly running a PB so far on this lap. Nothing to stop him taking it. Oh, but he runs wide, gets a big tank slapper on. And that should give Mr. Speedyman Charles a huge advantage over Speedyman Charles. Over Mr. Slowly, sorry. Struggling today. And there he is in the slipstream. It's now 2/10, and he has a much better run. He should be able to get by into turn 1. Does he go to the inside? Yes, he does. Didn't get there with as much top end as I was expecting, to be honest with you. But Charles goes up the inside, gets it done. Now, what can Slowly do? Charles, suddenly looking very gripped up and very quick. Running a little wide there, but stays in the slipstream. Charles goes to the left to defend. Slowly realises he can't get it done. Oh, but Charles, very conservative on the brakes, and then contact side by side. Slowly runs wide. Comes out behind. He'll probably end up getting a penalty. Oh no, contact means that you won't get a penalty because the game changed in that regard. If you receive car contact then run wide, it doesn't give you the penalty for going off track. And he lost the position, got dirty tyres, but didn't get a penalty, which is huge because he would have lost 2 whole seconds rather than just the position and being 8/10 down. Now, Charles needs to break the slipstream right here, as Nibbles is now on the back of GT Racer, and it looks like Charles has broken the slipstream. It's 1.3 seconds slowly. We'll go watch Nibbles here and see if and how he gets past GT Racer in the Clockwork car. Or both of them sort of understeering past the ideal line there. And it's 4/10, the gap. But it gained there for GT Racer. GT Racer with a better exit. And is he coming in? GT Racer coming in. Whoa, that was lag. At the end of the 21st lap. I didn't think his tyres were that bad. But he knows the strategy better than I do. Maybe there's a pit stop to be saved in there somewhere. But yeah, not too sure about that one. They know what they're doing. I haven't got the numbers in front of me. I haven't done the calculations. And it is an 11-second gap to AequepaX Racing Joker in 2nd place, who is now back out to 4.8 seconds on Harry Mop. So I think Harry Mop had made a couple of mistakes there, or one big mistake going off track, losing some time, getting a penalty, losing 2 seconds because of that. Because that gap went from 5 seconds down to 2.5. It's now back out to 5 seconds, not long after that. So, issue there for Harry Mop. That could play largely at the end of this race. They always feel so slow though. Having lost that big chunk of time because his rival is on mediums and is looking to take fewer pit stops than him, or potentially just get back onto the same sequence, but he needs to drop him like he did the Stossilla Racing Team car on those mediums, who is now 15 seconds back, but he's on lovely soft tyres, and we know the degradation on that 650S is fantastic. The way they've got that car set up, the way they're driving it, and he's on for a PB. He's 2/10 up, and his personal best of 31.4 means that he will be going very quick compared to the soft tyre shot Harry Mop at the front, who will have definitely lost pace by now. He's about 10 laps into this stint. There's no way he's going as quick as that anymore, because I think that's what his best laps were in the first stint. And it's a 31.0 for the Stossilla Racing Team car. That's a great lap time. Only 5/10 off Joker in terms of raw pace, but he spun! And he's got damage. He spun through the first part there on the left-hander. The back end gets away from him. I'm not sure why or how it's done that. Oh, that's huge for this race. He's got rear wing damage and left rear suspension damage. We'll have to keep an eye on how much that hurts the pace. And Speedman Charles is now right on top of him. He lost 5 seconds in the off, but how much is he losing in performance? And is it just draggy, or has he lost rear aero? Is it going to happen again? Has he got, is it toe in or toe out on that left rear? It'll take a little while to sort this one out for him, to work out what he needs to do. Looks not too bad. Looks not too bad. He's still gaining time on the leaders. It's about 20 seconds still. But we'll have to see down the straight if he's losing big time or if... Geez, what do you do? Do you come in and fix it, or do you just hang on out there because you're not too slow because of the tyre advantage? You'll have to get a read on it this time by. Only lost 4.3 seconds on this lap, it says, so it's not doing too badly. We'll have to see. He's pulling away from Charles, but he's holding on to the leaders. What's the straight line speed look like? He's lost only 3/10. It's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. He's only lost 3/10 down the straight. 2/10 to his PB. Yeah, I think he's okay. I think he can continue. It just depends whether or not he could accidentally spin or not again. But it feels like they've given him positive camber rather than negative. And the rear aero is not really all that badly damaged. Just give it a little tweak. He's lost a little bit of ground. Then made it back up through turn 1 anyway because he's got more grip at the moment. So it's not all bad here for the Stint car. It is manageable, and he still sets a purple first sector. That's funny. They've got a great job here. They'll make this work. I think they'll be okay to go further into this stint. They've still got half a tank of fuel, so they'll be out there for another almost 15 minutes, which is 10 laps basically. I think they can get away with this. We'll see at the end of this lap what the final split time is. Yeah, the gap to the lead now is now 7 seconds. So Harry Mott definitely made some errors there and lost a lot of time. But his advantage is now creeping back out. And with this mistake from Nibbles, it's basically what it's done is it's reset the lead. Reset the that start advantage that they got over everyone else. Because he lost that 4 seconds in that incident. He's only 5/10 down, so he's losing a little bit of time due to the damage, and he'll be able to go quick again after the next stop. So, I was 5/10 there. I guess he's going to lose another 2, I think, to himself here. So it'll be 7 or 8/10 a lap, which is going to be 7 seconds over 10 laps. As you saw, sorry, mentally I was elsewhere, as you can see, and it's a 31.7. Yeah, so he's lost 7/10, you'd say. Could be a little bit of tyre wear, probably mostly damage though, because this car and this driver combo has gone really well in terms of consistency of pace over a stint. But we saw Speedy Van Charles coming into the pits on the previous lap as Mr. Slowly on those mediums. Oh, big little slide. Good job, English. Slide there on the previous lap. GT race at 23 seconds down. A pit stop's worth 20 seconds. No, it's worth 30 seconds, sorry. And he's now 23 seconds behind Mr. Slowly in 5th place, which means I think if he's quick enough... Actually, no, he'll end up pitting roughly the same time STS does, so he'll be 30 seconds down on the Stint car, basically for the rest of the race from here on in. We'll see Joker. The tyre wear not looking too great. He boxed on lap 11, I think, so he's gone a long way in this stint, but it appears that the tyre wear is still not good for them. It's very front biased and it's very heavy on the front right. So Joker having to fight the tyre wear, and it looks like he's degrading at a similar rate to the Clockwork car ahead of him. But of course the Clockwork car came in a couple of laps later, so he has fresher tyres to begin with. So the degradation isn't entirely consistent. And it's a 32.8. Yep, 32.8, 32.0. Yeah, so the last couple of laps the tyre wear has just gone down another click as such, another stage, and he's suddenly losing a lot of time. So he had 32.1s, basically 32.0s, 5 laps in a row there, and then very suddenly it's 32.8s and you can't get anywhere near back on pace. So Nibbles is now 20 seconds off the lead, 11 seconds behind Joker. I have to see how this plays out. I think Joker can do probably 3 more, or 2 more laps maybe, 3 potentially, meaning he'll go to about lap 28. What does that get you? I guess once you clear 40 minutes, you're doing what is it, 6 stints, right? You're doing 3 stints an hour if you clear 20 minutes. So you're doing 6 stints here. So I don't know if he's going to get back another stint, because I think you have to go to 24 per stint, which is 48, to try and save a pit stop. But he's 10 seconds back, and if he's losing 10 seconds every time he jumps on the mediums... Although, no, he didn't lose 10 seconds. He was 5 seconds down, so he's only lost 5. He would actually end up being ahead of Harry Mott at the end of the race. If he did this 3 more times, he'd lose another 15 seconds and would be 5 seconds ahead. And Harry Mott is in. Harry Mop is in at the end of the 40th minute, so that's his strategy sorted. They will be doing 20-minute stints in that BMW. Joker's going to try and go long. I don't know if he can cut out a pit stop, but maybe he can. Maybe what it means is it gets him the advantage in the next stint where he's able to go back to softs maybe. And because he's on fresher tyres for the entire stint, he's able to make back some ground. And the Stacilla car goes through now into the 132s, but that's probably tyre wear on that rear. So maybe the unintended consequence here is the rear wears out more with the damage there, and he has to pit a little bit earlier than he'd like on those soft tyres. But of course, with that monster first stint he did out to lap 18, he's got laps in hand, he's got flexibility and strategy, and they've got a very quick car, and they can probably still run the softs to the end, even with if he has to cut this stint a little bit short. And he'll probably still cut a pit stop out of the AXR and City cars around them. Harry Mott 4.6 seconds behind Mr. Slowly, and GT Racer 20 seconds down already. They've had the same number of pit stops. GT Racer struggling with front degs. Something's not right about that car. I wonder if it's back in stock format or something, because his pace is not that quick either with 31.6s. It's I guess it's half a second off where Harry Mott was. Oh, he did a 30.7 in the previous stint. Actually, you saw that there. He's doing 31s and then, oh, Joker's getting closer, I'll just do a 30.7, 30.0, 30.1, and then the tyres fell off for him. Harry Mott, now it's 17 seconds. Where were we a moment ago? I wonder if that was a glitch or if... No, Harry Mott kind of lost 5 seconds because Slowly's 4 seconds at the rope running. And Slowly will probably be in this lap, I would think. No, he's going to go another lap. He's got enough fuel. Good strategy race, this one. I'm not quite sure where everyone is because we've got so many different strategies. When we get to the hour mark, you'll sort of see who's where, because the more or less pit stops will start to play out. But Joker has gone through for another lap. I think he will have to come in at the end of this lap. I don't know if he'll quite have 6 litres of fuel left, but it's got him back onto the same number of pit stops as the Clockwork car. And he'll probably go to the softs and then start hunting down Harry Mott in this stint, or does he go for another round of mediums and then come back to the softs again and again? Because I think you'd have to do 2 medium stints in this race and the rest softs. I'm not sure, we'll have to see. He might go mediums and try and cut a pit stop because he was very quick on them in that stint. Maybe that's what they want to do, we'll have to find out. But it looks like it got darker, but it hasn't really stopped getting darker, and if anything, it looks like it's getting brighter on the horizon. The glow is gone and it's just sort of daylight over the hill there. It's like the sun warped from one side to the other. So it's night on one side and sunrise on the other. Very interesting. And no, he's in this lap. Joker is in this lap at the end of lap 28. Yeah, I can see that latency, but I'm on Australia, so I don't know how bad it is for other people. Shadow there, unable to continue. It's not Groot's fault, mate. It's not Groot's fault. It's just the way lobbies are at the moment. Part of the battle is you've got Americans, Europeans, and Australian throwing chaos into the connection. If everyone was based in Europe, it'd be much better. If everyone was based in America, it'd be better. It's just not, unfortunately. That's just how it is. Slowly is in as well. Brand new medium tyres, so that's his strategy, locked and loaded. Joker comes out on full fuel, and medium tyres. So he's staying with the mediums. He is now 15 seconds behind Harry Mott because, of course, he's taking more fuel. This is the only lobby you have problems with. Yes, because you've got an Australian in here ruining everything. Hi, sorry. It's just how it is. You've got several... The first lobby is the same host, right? And it's fine. You put an Australian and a bunch of new connections into it, the lobby is less stable. That's how it is. Like, these lobbies were fine when Groot was hosting them for the 24-hour races, for example. We had no problems for lag in those back on GT Sport. It's just the way GT7 lobbies are. Like, it's nothing to do with the guys hosting it because they've hosted it consistently for years. It's just that GT7 sensitivity is just not right yet. Anyway, so GT Racer is 1.6 seconds back on Joker, and that's their fight for championship glory, third place. But GT Racer with far worse tyres and Joker on brand new mediums, so odds on, by the time they pit again, sorry, by the time Joker pits again, GT Racer will be pitting for a second time. It will be a full 30 seconds behind. Things have not gone well for him today. Looks like fourth is the best they can do, but Speedyman Charles is only 2 seconds behind him. What's happened to GT Racer? I guess Speedyman Charles with a 30.8. He is flying. He's only 2 seconds down. This is real and for position, and they're very similar on strategy in terms of tyre wear and things. So Speedyman Charles with better degradation. I do wonder if GT Racer has ended up with a stock setup here today, because he is 0.6 a lap slower than Speedyman Charles. And Speedyman Charles is flying. He is running him down at a huge rate of knots. And Liam Thursto's in the pits, not taking service, because I just saw that Big Mama had overtaken him for 7th place. So the second AequepaX racing car, we see the man on the on the lollipop shaking it and saying, no, come on, do the thing. Old mate here, not sure. Oh, can I help? No, we're not going to do anything. We're waiting for the pit confirm button. Anyway, so it's 9 seconds between the Stossilla Racing team and Harry Mop. And the Clockwork Motorsport car in the M6. They are locked together here. 17 seconds back to Joker on those brand new mediums, and GT Racer is now turning the wick up, trying to stay with Joker, and Speedyman Charles getting closer on that lap. 31.8 to GT Racer, 31.4 to Speedyman Charles. So Clockwork need to finish right behind Joker if they're not going to beat them, and it looks like Speedyman Charles is going to throw a spanner in the works, and he's purple to sector 1 by 0.2. Speedyman Charles is coming. He's found his groove. I did say that he struggles in the early stages, gets tilted a bit, and then once he finds his groove, he is bloody quick. Great drive in the second half here. He's found his groove. He's found what he needs. The temperatures have come down. He's got the grip, and off he goes. It's now 1.8 seconds. He is gaining at every corner in this Corvette versus Corvette fight. So he lost 0.4 of himself to the second sector, so that's a tyre wear starting to kick in for Speedyman Charles. Have to wait and see what the... Yeah, he's made up huge ground on GT Racer in this lap. It's down to 1.3 now. 31.2. So he lost no time in the final sectors. It was just driving errors rather than tyre wear causing him time loss, because normally when you've got tyre deg based time loss, you get to the last corner, it doesn't really stop, you got to brake a little bit earlier, it doesn't really turn in, and I won't rotate for the mid, and you get on the throttle and the back end complains, and you just lose 0.3 in one corner, and you're going, oh god, why am I so bad at this? But as you saw, he made up huge ground on the car in front, who is dealing with tyre wear problems. The Scuderia Chiara, I'm not sure, they never clarified when I asked them. That car with much better even tyre wear. You know, the fronts and rears looking very much the same, whereas the Clockwork car burning fronts very aggressively. Need to crack the brake bias to the rear or something. They are struggling in that car to get the tyre wear where they need it to be. It's cost them a pit stop and a lot of pace and a lot of tyre wear, and it could well cost them third in the championship. And that is a huge blow for them, but the gap's still 1.3 seconds. Now 1.2. Joker losing a little bit of ground, but not much again to Harry Mop. So Harry Mop able to pull away, but only just, and it's 3 seconds to GT Racer. He's got one more lap of fuel in the car and probably about 1.5 in the tyre. Never mind, he's in this lap. Maybe that's the strategy. Go back to Joker. When's Nibbles coming in? When's slow? Nowhere near. Okay. So we're down a few cars. All right, so it's 6 seconds between Nibbles and Harry Mop. And Nibbles is coming in this lap, I think. We're almost running out of tyres, almost out of fuel. So their strategy of going longer, it saves them a pit stop, but it may not be enough. Their pace is pretty good, but we'll have to wait and see. Because remember, of course, they're carrying something in the region of half a second worth of deg, and I think Harry Mott ran off the road there because the gap came down and then it went up in a big hurry. And he will go to the lead, Harry Mott, and we'll see if he can take the win. Yeah, 30.7 and then loses a couple of tenths, so maybe not. Maybe just the timing was walking around a little bit without us. We see Joker now 19 seconds off the new leader. With those medium tyres, he needs to be within 30, I believe, for a pit stop. He was 24 behind Nibbles, and by the time they finish, no, so it's a huge time loss in the pits. Speedman Charles is through. Mr. Stolly was 37 seconds behind Nibbles, so it's like 40-something seconds for a pit stop. Yep, and there's Nibbles coming out of the pits here. He will just come out ahead of Mr. Slowly. So it's a huge time loss for a pit stop. So it turns out that the Clockwork boys need to make up even more time than it looked like they needed to. As, yep, Nibbles was 30 seconds down. Sorry, Mr. Slowly was 30 seconds down, and now Nibbles is behind him. And you can see that he's 32 seconds behind Harry Mop, and he had a 5-second lead, so it's very close to 40 seconds worth for a pit stop around here. So these strategies going longer are doing the job, and GT Race is back in. Hey? Oh, it's not giving him fuel. He's taken tyres, and then bugger all fuel's gone into the car. Oh, that's even worse for those guys. That's knocked them right out. That's cost them huge time. That's something like 20 seconds lost just for that. Oh wow, that's legitimately cost them third place in the championship. Nothing they can do from here. They're not catching the boys around them. He'll be well behind Speedyman Charles now. Yep, he's more than a pit stop behind him. Having to take 2 pit stops. That's shocking for them. We'll have to hear from Clockwork about what happened, if that was a mistake or a glitch. Nothing we can do about it now, and Speedyman Charles is in. He will be ahead of GT Racer, who is now in 6th place, and that's a legitimate 6th place too, because Mr. Slowly hasn't got a pit for a while, and he is more than a pit stop ahead. So it's all gone wrong for Clockwork's second car. It's going fantastic for its first car. It's got a 20-second lead, and it needs a 40-second one if it's going to beat AXR Joker here today. Oh, geez, that looked like he was tank slapping off the road. Needs 40 seconds by the final pit stop that he'll be taking, and Harry Mop is losing buckets of time. He's gone off the road. Oh, Harry, what are you doing, buddy? Oh, it's halved his lead. He was 20 seconds up, needed about 40 by the end of the race. He's on target to get there, and he's just thrown away 10 seconds, and now he'll be fighting Mr. Slowly when they both come in. Oh no, they both came at similar times. Oh, jeez. It's tricky out there by the look of things. We saw Stossilla go off the road. We've now seen Harry Mott go up the road. Joker, the last man standing. And of course, those slides and spins and things really hurt the tyres. So you have to be very careful with that, because you end up burning the tyres. So of course, with 3 and 4 times wear, it's like you spun off the road 3 or 4 times, and it just melts the tyres. And he's probably not far away from a pit stop, but it's not very early in the stint, so it means he's going to be really struggling for tyres in his last part of the stint. As we see Mr. Slowly still hanging on to 3rd place. Nibbles is not catching him, really. Which I would have thought he was, because... Oh no, Mr. Slowly's gone on to the softs, that's what's going on. He's boxed in that last stop, gone onto the softs, done a 30.499 to take fastest lap, and is now attacking like crazy, and is pulling away from Nibbles, because Nibbles is, of course, looking after the tyre in the early phase to try and keep those rears alive a little bit longer. We saw that last time I was in the commentary booth, whereas Nibbles would cruise the first 3 or 4 laps, making sure the rears were in better condition for the rest of the stint before turning up the wick and getting on with it. And that meant that he was able to drive much deeper into the stint with a better quality of balance. So it's different compared to saying, oh, I'll just nurse the last 4 laps. By nursing the first 4 laps, he had better tyres through the 13 laps in the middle, and that was worth far more lap time at the end of the stint than it was by giving up at the start. It was a brilliant strategy to do it that way, because it saw really strong forethought that by not having a worse rear end for the entire stint, the rear deg wasn't going to get worse and worse and snowball. By being in a better condition, it gave him more grip, which meant he slid less, which meant he degged less as well, and it was just brilliant. So now we can see Nibbles starting to turn the pace up. He's done those couple of laps nice and gentle, and now he's decided it's time to go, and he's now catching Mr. Slowly. He will not be in for a couple of laps, and we'll have to pass him on track by the look of things. But Nibbles' job here, he's now only 20 seconds off the lead, 10 or something off Joker, 12 off Joker. So his job to try and win this race has become a lot more simple, as he will be barely halfway through this stint when the clockwork car comes to the lane the next time. And I think he's still got a pit stop over Joker at the moment, unless Joker goes mediums all the way to the end. So I have to wait and see how that plays out. But of course, Nibbles is on the softs and should be catching. He's done a 30.9 on that lap. And of course, Joker in the mid-31s here. He did 31.2, 31.3 the previous couple of laps, but it's just started to fall off. It's like it's gone past that critical point on tyre wear, and he's starting to fall away from his optimal pace. So Nibbles will be coming back at him. If Joker has to run mediums all the way and Nibbles can run softs, Nibbles can absolutely catch him up, assuming they take the same number of stops. So the fight for the win still very much alive between those two, because I think Harry Mott, after losing that 10 seconds, is going to struggle to end up on the same strategy in the same piece of road on those softs, unless he pulls out an absolute miracle couple of stints here with great pace and great deg. But it's never up to you, really, if you can do both those things at once. It's sort of where you are in terms of setup when you started the race, and you can only do so much to modify that. Nibbles not really gaining on Slowly just yet. It looked like he had decided to make ground, but Slowly could have put down a good lap, and it is another 31.1. So 30.0 for Nibbles. It's a gain, but it's only 1/10, but it should be a large gain over Joker, and it's a 31.7 for him on that lap as well. It's another 7/10. Stossilla Racing Team are coming. It is 11.5 seconds now. The gap is coming down with every lap, because the 650S is on much newer tyres, much grippier tyres, and he's going much quicker at this phase. Joker will be running out of grip very soon, and we'll have to pit before the Stossilla car. But will he go to mediums? Will he go to softs? We'll have to find out. He's actually lost ground there, Nibbles. So he ran wide there at turn 4 and couldn't get off the green AstroTurf, and you're not getting stuck out there, unable to get back across. The car sort of bottoms out. Oh, geez, that's laggy. That's scary. Oh, come on, Stossilla, hang in there. It'd be bad if he ends up disconnecting, because it's the worst sort of lag I've seen at the moment. Oh, maybe it's just my end. And we see Mr. Slowly running out of tyres. He'll be in this lap, I think, for those rears. But he's still quick. He's pulled away from Nibbles, who made a little mistake there. That's really impressive. He's doing 30-on-1s on such cooked tyres. Some of these guys have just turned up with some serious pace, even on worn tyres. It's like the softs randomly become the super softs, and you've got all this grip, and you've got the same soft deg. But he's in. And it's 25 seconds back to Speedyman Charles, so Speedyman Charles will overtake him, but will probably owe us an extra pit stop between now and the end. And GT Racer down in 6th after that botched pit stop. Not going well for him. I don't think he'll get out. He'll be behind Mr. Slowly, so that's a legitimate 6th place for him. He's got 3 minutes and 54 seconds. Sorry, he's got 2 minutes 30 in hand over Big Mama. And Liam Furso still in the pits here. Looks like he's retired the car. And those air hoses are very animated, you would say, considering that no one's really moving. Interesting simulation. Anyway, we go back to Harry Mop. He has an 11.8 second lead at this moment in time. And he's probably got 2 laps worth of fuel on board. Plenty of tyres left. He's just inching out the gap. 31.8, not really too good on that lap. 30 strong laps in the previous laps though, other than that 41, 30.9, 30.1, 30.9, 30.1.2, and then either he's made a mistake there or the tyre wear's just got him. But I think he's actually technically going a lap longer than he needs to on this strategy, which means he can come out and just go harder. If he's saving tyres at all, he can afford to come out and just attack attack more, I should say, not attack outright, because of course he can still blow the tyre off, but he's got 30-40% left and he's in this lap by the look of things. So he can afford to attack a little bit harder and use those softs more aggressively and get into the 30s a little bit harder. He's got 30.7 there, but I think he can sort of start there and keep going. He's doing a great job managing the tyres to make it work. But he's only got a 12.5 second lead and he needs to find another 27 seconds or so in the next half of this race. But we know he could find 20 in the first half. Can he find 27 in the second half? We'll have to wait and see, because it looks like the Clockwork car, they finally got the tyre wear right on this bloody M6 for the final round, and unfortunately they've got it wrong on the other car that needs the points to try and take 3rd position. It's now 12.9 there, so he's gained even more. Joker running out of tyres, and of course Harry Mop will get a big undercut as he comes out on fresh tyres, while Joker is running around doing 31.9s and 32s. And Harry Mop in this lap. What does Joker do? Does he come in or does he stay out? Change his strategy? Nope, he stays out. So the plan is to run as long as they can here and maybe run 1 or 2 soft tyre stints to the end, which will make it harder for Harry Mop to catch him. I think it'll have to be another medium at least. If it's 2 mediums, Harry Mop can catch him. If it's 1 medium, I don't think Harry Mop can catch him. So I'll have to wait and see how that goes. Nibbles is through as well. He's got a 30.9, a new PB in this stint. And you can see he's done 31.3, 39, 31.0, 31.7's a bit weird, and then 39, 31.0. So Nibbles is flying along. No degradation in terms of pace, even though there's degradation on the tyres. He's only 8.5 seconds behind Joker. It's a 3-way fight for the lead. A lot of fuel going in that Clockwork car. Probably doesn't need to be that much, I don't think. 89, 88 litres. I think he's doing much shorter stints than that. Comes back out on softs. He's only 13.5 seconds down, which means only 22 seconds down on Joker. Interesting. Interesting indeed. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But that is their real positions right now, I think, in terms of strategy. Where Nibbles is behind Joker and Harry Mop's behind both of them, but the quickest car is at the back on this type of strategy, because of course Joker has the quickest car, as we saw earlier on those softs, but it was degrading them too rapidly. So on the mediums, does he run wide? It looks like he's run wide. We'll have to wait and see if he loses a bunch of time coming up the hill, or if that was indeed, yeah, that was a mistake. He did run off the road there, lost 5 or 6 tenths, and it's actually hurt his run on the straight. He's been taking time out of both those guys on the straight. But this lap, unable to do so, losing ground. But the end of the straight there, making it back, because you can see the top end of that Genesis is better than the McLaren. Let's have a look through the field. Is anyone close? No, looks like we're going to have to stay on board with Joker and keep an eye on the leader until he pits. And we'll see how much closer Nibbles can get. He's at 30.8 on that lap compared to Joker's 32.6. He took 1.8 seconds out of him. The Stostilla Racing team are closing in fast. It was about 12 seconds when we first looked in on it. Now it's down to under 7. And Joker's got 25 litres of fuel. He'll do 3 more laps before he pits. And we'll find out if he goes to softs or mediums. And if he's going to try and take 2 or 1 more stop, we'll be able to find out. It was very interesting now, the strategies. As I said, about the hour mark, we'll see who's where on strategy. And everything will start to sort of play out and converge. 6.5 seconds now for the Stostilla car. He's visibly closer. 6.3 now, but it loses a bit on the exit. So the Stosilla car not as strong on the exits, but Joker not as good on the brakes and through the middle of the corner, just because he's degging the front. So the front's more important for braking and for the turn-in phase in the mid-corner, whereas the Stosilla car is degging the rear, so it's not as good on the exit. Oh, geez, I thought he was coming in then, because he stayed very low, very narrow. And it's 6.3 seconds there, so a much better lap from Joker, a 31.8. And Nibbles does a 31.1. It's only a 7/10 gain. I say only because in 9 laps they'll be on top of each other, but they'll be pitting in 3 and probably 4 or 5. So they will not converge until after the pit stop. And we'll, assuming Joker stays on mediums, Nibbles stays on softs. And if Joker goes to softs, then well, we should see Joker pull away, and we'll have to wait and see if he's able to get to the end on 2 soft stints, or if he has to modify his plan there, because I think he only did 11 laps, which is only 15 minutes, so I don't think he can do it on 2 soft stints, maybe 1 and another medium, but I think he has to do 2 medium stints from here to get to the end on only 2 more pit stops, because he is going longer than 20 minutes, but I don't know if he's going longer by enough. Maybe he is. It'll be at about 1 hour 10. He's got to do 50 minutes, 25 minute stints. I think he can do it. I think he's 2 medium stints away from home here, and I think Nibbles is 2 more soft stints away from home. As he's 10 laps into this stint, he's probably got, yeah, he's fine. He'll get there. He will get there as well. So it's AequepaX Racing versus Stosilla Racing Team here for the win. Mediums versus softs, and behind them both, Harrymop on softs, who I think is probably fighting to try and beat Joker for second. I think Stosilla's got the best strategy if they're running softs to home. And he does another little PB, a 30.8 for Nibbles, and it's a 31.9 for Joker. It's 1.1 seconds on that lap, as the deg starts to really hurt Joker, but he's doing a great job keeping in the 31s. He's basically run the same lap time the entire stint. But Nibbles is coming. See, if Harrymop was 10 seconds further up the road, he'd only be 4 seconds behind Nibbles, and it would be a very different game where I think he probably could match Nibbles and potentially run him down and in all the fights and things, but with that extra 10 seconds from that spin, it's going to be a lot of work to catch up, as Nibbles now within 5 seconds of the leader. Will Joker pit this lap or the next? I think he's got to go another lap. He's got to go as deep as he can, basically, I think, with this strategy. It'll be 1 more lap and he'll come in with about 1 hour and 10 on the clock, 50 minutes to go. We'll see, does he pit this lap or does he go again? The pace isn't really changing. If he's still doing 31s, you'd stay out, surely. You can see this Stosilla car starting to get tyre wear, because he's now decided to light the timing screens up. Looks like Joker staying out this time round. 1 more past the stripe, and it's a 31.9. It's a good lap time. And it's a 31.0 for Nibbles. So another 8.5 tenths there. It's down to 4.3 seconds for the lead. And Harrymop closing in on that, so he's done a great lap time. 30.8, yeah. So it's 18 seconds from third to first. The top 3 are covered by 20 seconds, but the strategy tells us they have the same number of pit stops remaining. But what tyres they're going to use to get that done, I don't know. I'm not sure if Stosilla can run 2 softs, or if they might have to do a medium in there, or just run around on dead softs for a lap at the end. They know their strategy better than I do. But they're now only 3.7 away from Joker, 3.5 away from Joker. He's got so much more grip in that sweeper. Those worn mediums on the AXR car are hurting a lot through the high-speed sections. The front left is dead, so he's struggling going right. Not doing great going left, but he's doing way worse trying to turn left. You'll watch him have to lift a lot here. Yep, oh, big lift there. Didn't quite, he had to have 2 lifts. Didn't quite come in for him. And it's now under 3 seconds to the Stosilla Racing Team car. And Frequency letting me know in the chat, thank you very much, that Stosilla will run softs to the end, and Joker is in this lap. Makes it clear, using the indicator, doing the right thing there. And he's in with 4 litres of fuel. And he will take... trying to find something. There it is. All right, so Stosilla will run softs to the end. So that is a real gap in terms of road position between himself and Harry Mop of 12 seconds or whatever it is. And that's GT Racer coming out to be lapped in the Corvette. This is not the afternoon, evening they were hoping for in this second stint. I think they did pretty well in the first stint in their fight for the championship. And Joker back out, full fuel and medium tyres. So Joker now needs to put in some big pace to try and stay ahead of the Stosilla car, while the Stosilla car is on worn tyres and while they're on fresh mediums. Granted, they are still mediums and the tank is full of fuel. They have to try and get it done and hope that Stosilla run out of tyre before they run out of fuel, because I think Stosilla need to go a little bit deeper to make these softs go to the end. If he comes in this lap, he's somehow got to do one stint the same length as Joker does. If he goes another lap, both stints can only be 1 lap short. Oh, but a big slide, big tank slide, but he holds it. Well done from the Stosilla car. Oh, look like Big Mama spun there. So the tyres are falling apart for Nibbles, but he's got to go another lap, I think. And yes, he does. So lost him a second or so. Yeah, the second and 1.4 on his sort of 31.0 pace. So he's just gone a little hard there in this stint, trying to run down the AequepaX racing car, and that's big. That'll help Joker stay ahead, which means that when Nibbles comes in, Joker will come out ahead probably. Though I think... Ooh, but Nibbles will take less fuel because he's not... Well, he has to take a similar amount of fuel because Joker's taken full tank. Oh, but Nibbles oversteered on the exit of turn 4, run wide, and that's huge. AequepaX Racing will be in the lead for sure now. That's big. That's very big. AequepaX Racing will lead this and lead this comfortably. So the Stosilla car, the rear instability has kicked in again and it's thrown him off the road for the second time today. No damage this time, and he'll probably box this lap now. But they have to try and figure out how to do 47 minutes on 2 stints on these softs unless they go to mediums, but they were not that quick on the mediums. So drama here for Stosilla in the strategy department. They have to make some choices and make them very quickly. Potentially the answer is you box now and then just drive conservatively for the first half of the stint like they did previously and then go hard at the end. But they have to run down Joker on those mediums. So maybe 31.5s are enough instead of running these 30.8s. But we'll have to wait and see. The gap to Harry Mop is now only 5 seconds. He stays out. So he thinks it was an isolated mistake. He knows what he's doing. He can carry this tyre, the extra lap on fuel, and he thinks he needs that lap now to try and stay alive at the end of the race when he will be fighting the guys around him. He will be fighting Harry Mop. He will be fighting Joker because they will run down Joker on those mediums. No lap time yet from Joker, but they will be fighting them. I am convinced that the Stosilla car on those softs is quick enough to catch Joker. Now that he's lost 5 seconds, he's made it harder, but I think he can still get there. But also means Harry Mop is a chance to catch Nibbles, because in my head, Nibbles was going to catch Joker, pass him, and be away because Joker couldn't fight him on the mediums. But now it might be close enough that Harry Mop can get in touch. And we saw 31.9 from Joker. He had to go fast here, and he's done that. He's doing the job that he needs to do to keep up with the boys in front. He has taken time out of Nibbles in the last 2 laps, but Nibbles is really out of tyres, trying to be very sensible to try and keep it alive. And Harry Mop knows that he has to attack now while Nibbles is vulnerable. Because Harry Mop should still have decent tyres on board, whereas Nibbles has got those absolutely dodgy right rear going for him. Although his right front is probably lower than his left rear. Oh, geez, it didn't stop there, and it didn't really turn either. But he's through. He'll be in this lap. It's now under 4 seconds between these two, and we'll have to see where he comes out relative to Joker. Nibbles is in. And Joker's 26 seconds down, so he's at least 10 seconds up the road from Nibbles. And it's going to be up to Harrymont if he can join this party. So Harrymont will need less fuel, by the way, than the guys around him, because assuming they're burning roughly the same amount of fuel, he has more right now. So to get to the end of the race, he needs less, if that makes sense. Less needs to go into his car, but it'll only be a couple of seconds of fuel over the 2 stops. Wow, this is fascinating. And of course, Joker will need the most, I think. No, he will need probably a full tank. Whereas Nibbles there taking 85, as you can see, taking 15 litres less, and he'll probably do that in the next stint, which means he'll have another 1.5 seconds advantage. He's not too far behind though. It's maybe 10 seconds? Could be less, could be 8. I have to see when he comes through the first sector point, because of course you come out and then it gives you a false reading because you're losing time all the way down. And yeah, it's 9.5 seconds. That's the gap. That's what he needs to overcome if he wants to win here in the AequepaX AequepaX Racing GT World Endurance Championship. This is round 8. It's the final round. It's the second race of round 8. The final race of the season for the final chance at glory. They won in Stint 1. Can they do a double clean sweep here at Interlagos, the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace in Sao Paulo, Brazil? This is going to be a thrilling finale. We've still got 43.5 minutes left. That's 2 pit stops for most of these guys, but for these, for the AXR Joker and Nibbles, that'll be 1 because they've only just come in. Speedyman Charles is 13 seconds behind them, and he will pit, probably, maybe one more time after this. Could well be 2 though, but he's only 12 seconds behind Nibbles. He is not far behind in the Scuderia Chiara car. Chiara? I don't know. Sorry. They have made a fantastic comeback after fighting Mr. Slowly early on. Mr. Slowly's gone to the softs again, and he's at 30.4. That thing is quick over 1 lap, and it's not too bad over a stint either. We see GT Racer a further 20 seconds down. He is 1 minute 24 off the lead, doing 1 minute 32s on those softs. So it's obviously not the result they're looking for, but still 6th place nonetheless. Circulating still, Big Mama 1122. He's doing the job, getting it done, holding on in 7th place ahead of the now retired AequepaX racing car. I feel like every time you jump in and out, it makes the the hoses jiggle. And the also retired SMM car, Sidemax Motorsport, partnering with Sideworks. Sidemax Motorsport? Yeah, SMM, Sidemax Motorsport. SMM Shadow there for the Sideworks team. So Harrymont with a 22-second lead. He still needs another 15 seconds, but he's doing the job that he needs to do. He will owe us 2 pit stops. His lead is where it was 20 seconds, it came down to 10, and he's pushed it back out to 20 in a big hurry here. This is probably one of his best opportunities to undercut Joker and make it happen. He's going to have to do it on track in the final stint, for sure. I don't think he's got enough raw pace to find 15 seconds in the next 20 minutes, but he's giving it everything, and I love to see it. 30.8 on the previous lap. 30.0 to 30.8 in the last few. So he is going hard. Joker with a 30.8 though. On mediums. 31.9, he's done 31.1, 31.1, 30.8. He's flying on those mediums. Like I said before, the softs become the super soft, but you get the soft level of degradation. Joker is going hell for leather on those mediums. He's going to make this work. He was sandbagging before, and now he's realised that it's close and it is time to go. He's got the mediums going as fast as the other boys are doing on softs. That's crazy quick. Maybe that'll degrade the tyre over the stint, but he doesn't need to go as deep in the stint. I'm not sure. That's brilliant. Brilliant pace from AequepaX Racing, AXR Joker. Like a 30.8, he's only 3.5 tenths off the fastest lap of the race, which is on softs. And we reckon it's about a second a lap deg from soft to mediums by what we were seeing from Nibbles and Joker himself. That's monstrously quick. That's changed the complexion of this race completely. That's actually a huge development, how fast Joker's going here on these mediums. It's a question of can he keep this up, or will it cliff really badly? And at the end of the stint, we'll have to see a bit of drama, but he will take one more pit stop closer to something in the region of 1 hour 30 to 1 hour 40 in there somewhere. So he's still got to do another 15, 20 minutes on this tyre, which is another 10 laps. Oh, geez, that looks sketchy, but it's just lag. He's got to do another 10 laps here. He's only done 46. He's only done 6, but he's driving them quickly. We'll have to wait and see. So, Joker playing another twist to this race. I thought it would be no question that Saucilla would run them down, but now it's a serious question. I have no idea if they're going to get there. They are a long way back with 40 minutes remaining, which is some 28 laps or something in that region. No, sorry, more like 26 laps. They're doing 30s. So Nibbles has 26 laps to make up 9.5 seconds, which is something in the region of 3 and a bit tenths per lap required. So they're going to have to find a way to either find some pace or hang on to the tyre better than Joker can hang on to those mediums. Big developments. Big developments. So that's a 40.79 for Speedy Man Charles. He's stolen it away from Mr. Slowly, who now has a little 5/10 penalty. Probably made a mistake there because he's pushing like crazy. Look at that pace. 30.4, 30.6, 30.7, 30.9, 30.8, 30.9. These guys are all going bloody fast suddenly. They've decided to just go hell for leather in this late stage. And you can see Speederman Charles, 0.9, 0.6, 0.4, 0.4. Will he improve on this lap? I didn't see a split. I wasn't paying attention to that because I was looking at the numbers going, how are they this fast? And it's a 30.5, just misses out. But they are going so fast. Everyone has just, the track's ramped up here. Everyone is going so quick. Although GT Race is still in the 32s, but I think he's got worn tyres. So, yeah, everyone's going very quickly here. Nibbles just under inch into Joker. Joker in the 31.6s now, so it's obviously dropped out of that lovely tyre window, and he's finally found that first click of deg. And now he'll do those, because he was doing 31.7s and things at the start of the stint. So for whatever reason, the tyre just loses a click and it loses 6/10, but for some reason, the fast pace was 31.0 and now it's 31.6. So he's 6/10 lap quicker this entire stint, even with the deg kicking in. Very interesting stuff here. Joker trying to... Oh no, that's Harry passing this. Harry must pass this up. Sorry. Yep, Nibbles now 8.7. So the Stossila car is starting to gain once again. It's a 31.3. It's not that bad actually. It's only 5/10 down on his best lap. Sorry, his best medium lap, which he set earlier in the stint. Got to cycle it. 30.7 for Nibbles. It's a PB. He's made half a second on that lap. Alrighty, the race is back on. Joker's incredible pace is now being affected by the tyre wear. And we'll have to wait and see if it's going to affect him enough that over the next 10 or 15 minutes, the Stossila car can come back at him. Can the Clockwork car pull away enough? We'll have to wait and see. Because, of course, the Clockwork car will be in this lap or the next sometime soon. He'll come out on lovely, fresh, soft tyres, and he'll be able to go very hard, and he'll be able to do one lap shorter to the end of the race than he would have had normally, so he can go even harder off the line and not worry about deg as much. But, of course, he's got a very good team behind him telling him how to go about doing that, what to look after, what he needs to do, and he'll know how much more he can push to try and take a bit more time. I don't think he's doing 16 laps, mate. I think he's done 13, and then he's done 14s a couple of times. Harry Map goes around again. He's got fuel for at least 2 more laps. He hasn't got the tyre for it though, but he doesn't need to be there. He's not going to take a pit stop out, is he? I don't think he can go deep enough to take a pit stop out. Unless he's just backs it out completely and saves. If he does 2 more laps, that's 3 more minutes to be at 127. He's still got to do 33 minutes on a tyre, which is 20 laps. He's not going to do it. There's no point doing that. He would have to go to mediums. He could go to mediums. Hang on. If everyone's got to pit one more time and he goes to mediums, can he go that far and take a fuel? Ooh. Because if he goes to mediums, he then has to do 32s. 32.0 on mediums. Ooh, that would be very interesting. If he can go another 2 laps and then jump onto mediums and has enough fuel to get there, he's got a 20-second buffer to hold on to on his less preferred tyre that he hasn't learned like Joker has, because Joker's learned the tyre and he's going fast on it. Nibbles ran both tyres, made both of them work. Oh, that would be another twist if Clockwork, having pushed the stints deeper, found enough distance to go in there. So, all right, that's an each-way bet, really. Does the Clockwork car come in for fresh softs, undercut the hell out of Joker to try and get it done, try and find 15 seconds in 10 minutes? I don't think he can do that, and he would still be some 10 seconds down on Nibbles, who will pit once more, and he'd be undercutting him for the entirety of the stint to try and run him down before their pit stops. Oh, geez, I don't know what you do. That's up to Clockwork and Harry Mott. Only he knows in his car what he can get away with, how far the fuel will go. It's lap 56 for car 56. They're leading. Oh, it's not 56, that's 81. The other car is... No, they're 90. Never mind, neither are at 56. I thought Clockwork ran 56 on me. My bad. Anyway, back to the fight. It's a 31.6 on this lap for Joker, so it's starting to degrade, and he's got to go a little bit further than this. See, he's half a tank of fuel away, and he was putting full tanks in. So I think Harry Mott would not be able to get to the end on mediums. I think he's 40 litres short or something to try and go that far. Because if he fuel mixed, he would be losing time hand over fist. But if he's short shifting and lifting and coasting, because I think it's 3 times fuel, he might get a lot of fuel back. And I know you used to run like mix 3 through this interior sector because the drive traction, you're just sitting there spinning wheels and not really accelerating. Ooh, geez, I don't know. And Harry Mott's gone by again because he was with GT Racer, and GT Racer's coming to the pits, and Harry Mott has not. So he's got another lap to go, which means he will be 31 minutes away from the checkered flag, which means he has to do 21 laps, I think. Or, yeah, so 20 laps is about 30 minutes, but if they're doing 32s, that's 30 minutes and 40 seconds. So, oh, geez. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I cannot wait to see how this goes. Does he come in for softs? Does he go... I don't know, Storm. I can't tell where he pitted because the bar only shows 10 laps. Because no, he didn't come in on 39. He pushed an extra lap on the previous couple of stints. So he did 13, and I think he did 27 and 40, so 27 and 41. So this would be the 16th lap. So that... Ooh, that didn't sound good. Oh no, it's just understeer from Joker. So, well, I did wonder why he came in so early on the previous stint. If he'd taken that extra lap, maybe he would have got himself in a place where he could hop on the mediums right now and have a 20-second lead over the guys behind him, who will pit again. Sorry, with 1 pit stop remaining for everyone. I just don't know if he's got the fuel to do it. We'll find out. He's either going to do 15-minute stints flat out on softs, or he's going to try and do one big long 30-minute stint. I think it's only 20 laps from here. It's only 20 laps because he's going to lose time in this pit stop. It's 20 laps. Can he do 20 laps on a tank of fuel? I don't know. The tyres will go close. We'll find out. Where does the fuel stop? Does it stop at 60 or does it go all the way to 100? It's climbing. It's 100. He's going for mediums. He's got to. He's got to be going to mediums. All right, the race is on, boys. It is a 20-second gap between Joker and Harry Mott when they come out after the pit stops. Harry Mott has to take a full tank, so will Joker will not take a full tank. He will gain back some time. Is he still on softs? Harry Mott has taken a full tank and he's gone on softs. Okay. He's going to try and do 20 laps on softs, which means he's going to... Okay. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Harry took softs. Yeah. I don't know about that one. I don't know how he's going to make 20 laps on softs, but I guess he can afford, if he's not going to stop again, he can afford to drive conservatively, because he is 15 seconds off the lead, but both of his opponents owe us a pit stop. So he can drive conservative and look after the front tyres, but I don't know if he can drive conservative and look after the front tyres enough to that point. If you were going to stop again, you wouldn't have taken full fuel now, because you would want to come in really aggressively on the fuel so you can go way quicker, make up a bunch of time on these guys while they were on worn tyres, so that you can basically win the track position when you do come into pit. So it's a 31.4 the time for Joker, and it's 31.1 for Nibbles. It's 5.6 seconds at the front. Well, this race just took on a new level. Speedy Man Charles in the pits in 4th place. He will hang on to that and will stay ahead of Mr. Slowly, who will basically pit the next time GT Racer does and will stay 30 seconds ahead of him. Looks like Harry Mott losing ground there. So maybe try to look after the softs on the front end. I'm not sure what you do. You'd run all the way rear brake bias and just be gentle in all the high speed sections and lift off instead of, understeering. I think you can save tyres, but I don't know if you can do it fast enough. But I guess if Joker's doing mid 31s, you can be doing mid 32s and he won't be able to catch you because there's 20 laps left and you had a 20-second advantage. He should not have to take as much fuel though, so he'll gain back 3 or 4 seconds in how much fuel he didn't have to take. I think he could do it. He just have to be very smart about where and how he's losing time. I don't know if he has the fuel range to do it, that's the other thing. So he might be having to lift and coast and fuel mix and something. But I guess lifting and coasting will save front tyres as well. Because if you lift and coast at the end of the straight, you're taking energy out of the car without using the brakes, so you're not using the tyres. And when you're braking, a majority of the work is being done by the front tyres. But you'd go like rear brake bias, you'd lift and coast, because lifting and coasting buys you fuel as well as buying you tyres. That's a 31.9 there for Joker. He's under 25 litres of fuel. He's probably got 3 more laps. Because you'd have to do 5 litres per lap to get to 20 laps. And I reckon these guys are burning more like 6 or 7. So I think Harry would have to save fuel and tyres to try and get home. And I think that's a big ask for him. I'm not sure if that's the way you would want to do it, or if you should come in and go full attack, 15 minutes, literally 10 laps, blasting at full throttle, doing 30.4s. As we see Mr. Slowly with a 30.1, the track has ramped right up. He has got that thing dialed in this stint to go very quickly. But yeah, you only have to do 10 lap stints. You could do 30.4s for 5 or 6 laps, then fade out to 31.0. You'd be fine, and then come in, do it again. You'd have a chance at running them down. 31.7 there for Joker. The gap is 4.6. That's a 31.4 for Nibbles. The tyre wear starting to creep in to that McLaren. But remember, he lost 5 seconds in the previous stint. He would have been right on top of Joker at this moment. As we are 1 hour 34 in, there are 26 minutes remaining. I don't know if Joker's going to go softs or mediums. We'll have to wait and see, because he's dead on the mediums. It's not looking great. I don't know if he can get to the end on softs, but I definitely think he can get to the end on mediums. And it's a question of, can the Stossila car do the same thing? So the Stossila car needs to go 1 lap longer than Joker to have the same sort of dead curve as they did in this stint, because Snibbles went 2 laps longer than Joker, at least in the previous stint, which means he can afford to buy 1 lap in either stint. It's down to 4 seconds. I'd say the deg is really starting to hurt Joker, as it is Nibbles, but of course it doesn't cost him as much time as it costs him safety in that McLaren. So Nibbles is losing in the drive section, so under traction. But where the time loss here is, it's a majority long sweeping corners. Yes, there are traction zones, but they aren't as big of the time as they are the long corners. So there are, if you look at the amount of degrees of turning you do in these corners, they are very long. There's lots of turning. They're not short, little, quick rotation, get back on the power. It's lots of time spent turning. So that front degradation hurts you in terms of lap time more than the rear does, because your time spent accelerating off the corner isn't as bad as the amount of time you spend in the corner. And that's why, despite the fact that Joker's probably got more front tyre, a very similar front tyre to Nibbles has rear tyre, Nibbles is flying along by comparison. 31.4 plays 32.0. Yes, it's a softer tyre, but it is also giving him more grip at the front end, allowing him to rotate the car, making brake a little bit later, rotate the car in and get through the corner and overall gain time. It's 3.6. It's literally on the screen. As the angles keep showing both cars, it's come down a lot in the last few laps. Will we see a position fight before the pit stop, or is Joker in this lap? I think Joker might be in this lap. It looks like not that much fuel, but he could sneak another lap in, whereas Nibbles definitely has to go at least one more. That's 12 seconds back to Harry Mop, so I think Harry Mop is coming back at them, because it's now only 15 to the lead. I'm not sure. Actually didn't check what his gap was when I came out. But let's go to Joker. What does he do? Is it what? No, he's coming in. He's got the indicator on. He is in this lap. He will have to do 23-ish minutes. So it's going to be 15. Yeah, I think it's 15 laps in this last stint. Will it be softs? Will it be mediums? Does he gamble? Nibbles goes through. Does he gamble on mediums? Does he gamble on softs, or does he stick to mediums and just go really fast, because he knows he can do that on these mediums? As we wait an eternity for the car to arrive, Harry Mop goes through into second. Have to wait and see if the tyres they've chosen are soft or medium, and a lot of fuel going in, 96 litres, so whoa. That's great. We'll have to wait and see. It looks like mediums. We'll have him confirm when he gets on track if they stay RM or become RS. It would appear to be, though, they are RMs. AXR Joker going into the final stint on medium tyres. He's got 22 minutes and 10 seconds left in this race to make something happen, to try and chase down his opponents. He is 30 seconds behind Nibbles right now, who is probably coming in this lap. 31.9 in his previous lap. Still made ground. He'll lose ground on this lap, but he'll come out on soft tyres within 5 seconds. Oh, jeez, it's wobbling around on him. Within 5 seconds of the lead to try and make an attack on AXR Joker for the race win, and to complete a Stossilla Racing Team sweep. I love that the game tries to put them back on the racing line, because it's convinced that they should be on the racing line and shouldn't be disappearing off into the pits. It just sits there trying to reconcile the real position where it thinks it should be. It's like to try and fix the netcode, they added some nonsense about the car sticking to the racing line through the netcode, where it sort of guesses it and then updates it, and sort of guesses it and then updates it, as opposed to just letting the raw position fly. Because it's just so weird when they come into the pits. The car looks like it's halfway off the road, but of course they're very comfortably in the pit lane. Only 85 litres. He took 10 litres less than Joker, and that is a second less, but they are side by side at this moment out of the pit lane. But Nibbles will come out behind. It's looking to be like 3 or so seconds. He's going to do one less lap, but he is on the softer compound. He's going to have to manage that right rear. Right on the money. It was 3.3 there, and it'll be about 4 when they get down to Sector 1. Speedyman Charles only 7 seconds down. Unfortunately, he owes us an extra pit stop. He's got a 30.3. Those guys are all flying in the second half, in the middle field of this race. And there's the 2 Clockwork cars. Knows how. Get the hell out of the way, GT Racer. We have the man fighting for the lead. He is the leader. Unless they're going to give him a nice slipstream down the front straight, which would be a very, very teamly thing to do. And yet, he just backed it off ever so slightly. Nice slipstream for Harry Mop. And he'll get out of the way up at turn 1. Weird line there, making it hard for him to get a slipstream, but that could just be lag. That's actually pretty good from Clockwork. I like that a lot. Oh, unless, of course, Harry's going slowly. He is going slowly because Joker is 20 seconds behind him. It was 23 or something when I thought about it. Then he went deep, I think it was 22. So they've actually got the first Clockwork car being towed by the second one. Whether or not that's just because GT Racer is so bloody slow in this stint for whatever reason. Maybe that car's on stock settings, I'm not sure, because it had bad degradation and not good pace. It could be that Harry Mob is being towed along accidentally or very deliberately, and either way I rate the hell out of that. 20 minutes remaining, 19 seconds. They can afford to give up a second a minute actually, and still just hang on to this race, which is something like a second and a half per lap in hand. So I'd say he's running out of, he has to save fuel because he doesn't have enough, because he's tried to go a long way on fuel here. Worth noting that short shifting is a better fuel gain than fuel mixing, for whatever reason, on, I think it was 3 or 4x. Either way, you'd be doing both. You'd have fuel mixers on and be short shifting and lifting and coasting, doing all those things. So the gap to the lead is now 18 seconds, and it will come down all the way to the line. It's going to be a very, very... it's going to be exciting, basically. We don't know who's going to win until the checkered flag falls between Harry Mop and Joker, but also between Nibbles and Joker, because the Stint Racing Team car is on softs. It is chasing down Joker on mediums, who is trying to chase down Harry Mop, who is on mediums, but Harry Mop has to try and go a crazy distance on fuel. Now, I think he came in with about half an hour to go. He's got through GT Racer, by the look of things. Yeah, so he's got half an hour to go, and he's probably got 66-ish litres of fuel, but the tyres are not too bad, but they're not great. He probably needs to look after those a bit more, sacrifice a bit more pace. He's got it in hand. Because you want to look after the tyres when they've got grip. There's no point running out of grip and then trying to look after the tyre, because you're already going slow and then you're going even slower. If you go slow when the tyre has grip, you then have more grip later on to work with when your opponents catch you, and you're not completely out of luck when you're trying to make it happen. But we're in the middle of the strategy war. It's Clockwork, AequepaX Racing and Stint Racing Team. Oh, I just don't know how this is going to play out. I have no idea if Nibbles is going to catch Joker, and if they fight, they might lose enough ground to Harry Mop that Harry Mop can save as much tyre and fuel as he needs. Harry Mop might not have enough fuel, he might not have enough tyres. Joker, we know, is very fast on these mediums. We know Nibbles is also quick on his soft tyres, but Joker, when he went full bore in the previous stint, they burned out aggressively. So he was doing 30s on the mediums at the start, but then he was doing 32s at the end before... 31 9s and then a couple of 32s. So we'll have to wait and see, and we're not sure if the Stint car is going to attack from the outset, or if they too are worried about their tyre life and they have to sort of conserve at the start. Because it's 31s, 31-1, 31-0, which is not bad, but it's 30.9 for Joker after a 31-4 and a 31-8. So it's just all up in the air. I don't know. Normally when this happens, it's okay, there are some strategies playing out, and I think I've got an understanding of who's going to get it done, who's going to do something, or how much time is being made up. And like I said earlier, I felt it was a certainty that Nibbles would catch Joker. And then Joker started doing 30.7s on mediums, and it stopped being certain. And the same thing with this Harry Mop scenario. He's 17 seconds ahead with 16 minutes remaining. I don't know if he can hold on to that lead. He's on softs. There's no way they're not running full throttle, we know that. But I just don't know if they can make that last. I don't know if the fuel can last that much, because Joker put in 95, Nibbles put in 85, and they pitted 10 minutes later than Harry Mop. So I do not know how this is going to play out. And I think the fact that Harry Mop isn't losing time hand over fist, worrying. I find that worrying, because I would be backing this in as aggressively as possible to make sure I had as much tyre and as much fuel for the last 3 laps, when my opponents get close enough to me that I have to worry, because he's not losing time down the straight there. It's holding at 16.6. He's not losing time down the straight, which means he thinks he's good on fuel. Yeah, because you can't decide to pit now. You can't. It's over. You're only 16 seconds ahead. Yeah, it's a short pit stop, but it's not going to be short enough. So you can't switch gears to going flat out now. He has to be certain that he's good on fuel already, which is crazy if true. And it's just a question of tyres, but he's done... Oh, geez, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm in real time trying to work this out. So Joker doing a 31.5 there. He pushed 1/32 lap and he's gone back into the 31s. So potentially trying to look after the fronts to try and attack later on so it doesn't deg as aggressively. Stosilla, 31.1, 31.0, 30.9. I think they're just gently working into their stint because they know they have to have tyre at the end of the stint. They could attack now, catch Joker, pass Joker, and then get stuck fighting with Joker and not be able to try and catch Harry Mop in the lead. Although Harry Mop's just gone and shipped a second, 6/10, never mind. I mean, if he does it, that's brilliant. Like, we've seen some really good strategy stuff here where guys have taken 1.5 stints by running a medium in the middle of the race and then buying themselves the freedom to run softs to home and making soft tyres last 1 or 2 laps extra compared to the rest of their opponents to then steal a pit stop in a race with high deg, and then, we'll run 1 or 2 laps longer on softs, and then, all right, now we'll do 1 medium stint. We've cut 2 pit stops out of the field, and doing things like that. We've seen some great strategy and some great driving to make these work, but this would be probably the most ridiculous strategy if Harry Mop can pull this off. If he is able to somehow run half an hour on a tank of fuel on a set of softs. We've seen brilliant strategy, but this would be ridiculous because it shouldn't be possible. It's not like, oh, that was really clever. That is just insane. That shouldn't work. That's the kind of thing Storm Pacer would come up with, who is one of the Clockwork boys. He would randomly just think, but what if? And then, for some reason, it doesn't cost him too much time because he's thought of it on the fly rather than how to maximize it. But it's the kind of crazy thing he would do. And the gap is now 15 seconds with 12.5 minutes to go. At this rate of degrading and catching of, seconds per minute, Harry Mop is 2.5 seconds in the lead. We will wait and see if it stays that way. But it's now 2.7 between Stosilla and Joker. That's the fight for now. And it looks like, the tyre wear is about the same. But remember, Nibbles came in a lap after Joker. So he has done 1 fewer lap to have the same tyre quality. That's warning signs for them. Joker does a 31.5. Nibbles does a 31.1. It's 0.4 closer. It's now 2.7 seconds. And now it's under 14 seconds with 12 minutes to go. Oh, jeez. I don't know if that's a mistake or if he's just realised he's got a bit of time in hand, so he's going to lift and coast a little bit harder. I do not know. I have to agree with you, Master Swift. Surely not. Surely not. Does he have the tyres? Does he have the fuel? And I'm deliberately not looking at his car because I want to see this one happen without spoiling it, basically. I don't want to see that, he hasn't got enough fuel, he's not going to make it. That takes the fun out of it. I don't want to see that, his tyres are, more than halfway gone, he's got no hope of making it, he's going to be crawling around the last few laps. That's no fun. I'm staying with Joker and Nibbles here deliberately so that the end of this race stays tense and dramatic because I do not know if he's going to make it, and it takes the fun out knowing if he's going to make it or not. It's now under 2 seconds for Joker and Nibbles. This is the other element, is if Nibbles does catch Joker and they start fighting, that may cost them time, but I think Joker's going to let him get close and then pull the pin and go real hard. Because we saw that Joker could do 30s, and he's been just sort of coasting around doing low 30s, mid 30s, so 31s, sorry. And there you go, 31.8 on that lap. And he's got half a tank of fuel to do 10 minutes, and he's got very good tyre quality at this stage. It's much more balanced than it has been. I think Joker's saving tyres now so that he can attack later when Harry Mop is vulnerable. I think he's going to attack when Stosilla is vulnerable because he thinks he can draw Stosilla in to burning their tyres out trying to catch up. It was a 30.7 for them. They took another second out. And there you go. Straight away, he's up on his best. Joker's gone. He's decided within 2 seconds, time to fly. 10 minutes remaining. 6 or 7 laps, not sure. We'll have to work that one out on the fly. He's decided it is time to go. The gap to the lead is 12.6. There are 10 minutes remaining. Joker's pulled the pin. He's no longer losing ground to Nibbles. He's pushing. You watch. This will be a 31 dead or 30.9 or something this lap, because he's done already 10 laps in this stint. Last time he was pushing really hard at the start and it degged out. This time he's been very conservative at the start, and now he's going hard. But this is where the race lights up. See, it's 2-1 between him and Nibbles still. It was that at the start of the lap. Oh, he's 4 tenths down on himself, but I think his best was 0.5, which means he's on for about 0.9, 30.9, 31.0. And Nibbles has barely taken anything out of him. He's taken maybe 1 or 2 tenths of this lap, but Nibbles is losing on the straight because A, the Genesis is quicker, B, he had worse drive because of that rear tyre wear. And 31.0, there you go. And it's going to be 31.4 for Nibbles. Nibbles lost 31.4. Wow, he lost ground somewhere on that lap. I guess it looked like he was that far down. He must have got a bad run through 3 because it looked like he was this far down the entire lap. But Joker's pulled the pin. It's time to go. If he wants to win this race, he has to do it right here, right now. There are 8.5 minutes left. The gap is 11.6 seconds. He needs a second per minute. He needs 1.5 seconds per lap. And he's not far from getting it. Can Herimop hang on? Does he have the fuel? Does he have the tyres? So far, he's got the pace, but I don't know if that means he's got fuel and tyres in hand. He might be on the ragged edge for fuel because he's had to push to try and stay ahead. He might have chosen the wrong tyre. I think he thought he could save fuel better on the softs by carrying more corner speed and being safer in the corners to look after the tyres, as opposed to mediums where he'd have to work the tyres and they might still burn out. It's 11 seconds, but it's 1.8, 1.9, one of those two. Keep changing its mind between Joker and Nibbles for what is currently second place, but might be the lead of the race. With under 8 minutes to go, it's 11 seconds at the lead. Herimop with a better exit than Joker, but now losing time on the straight. So he is fuel... No, he's not. I don't know if he's fuel mixing, to be honest with you. But he's lost time on the straight, but that could just be because Joker gets a great run off the final corner and has a better speed than the BMW and the McLaren behind him. It's a 31.3, but it's a 30.9 for Stosilla. The gap's under 11 seconds at the front. It looks good for Harry, but of course, the tyres can cliff. He will try and do half an hour on them, giving away 15 seconds so far, or whatever it was. But you remember, once you get out of tyre, you are out of tyre in a big hurry. We saw these guys go from doing 30.7s to 32.5s, things like that. So it's definitely not over. Even if it looks good now, it may not look so good in 4 laps time. 7 minutes remaining, 10 seconds on the lead. Under 1.7, under 1.6 now. Sorry, down to 1.6 between second and third. These boys are now pushing hard. Stosilla with less fuel, but that makes sense because Joker took 10 more litres. He had to do one more lap, but that's more fuel than one more lap. The lead is now 10 seconds with 6 minutes to go, which means they should do 4 more laps. Herimop can play this nicely where he doesn't actually have to... I think technically you can run this stint slower, if that makes sense, and just not take the extra lap and still win. But even if he did run out of fuel, so long as his opponents don't get across the line, yeah, they won't. They won't. So with 6 minutes remaining, that is 4 laps, 100% for Joker and Nibbles to get through. They have 4 more laps, and they have more than 4 laps of fuel, both of them. Even at 6 litres per lap. If it's 7, Nibbles might be in trouble, but they have 4 more laps, 100%. So it is 2.5 seconds per lap needed for Herimop to lose for them to take the advantage. It's 10 seconds here. 31.1 for Joker. 30.9 for Nibbles. It is just 1.3 seconds. Oh, I want to look at Herimop so much just to look at the lap times, but I don't want to spoil if he's got the fuel and tyres. But it looks better and better with every lap because the gap between the minutes remaining and the time on the board is not getting any better for the guys behind. But that's whether or not Harry Mott literally runs out of tyre, because he might be just hanging on to this pace with a sliver of tyre left. If it runs out, you lose a lot of pace, seconds per lap, from having tyre to not having tyre, let alone a new tyre. Now it's under a second between Nibbles and Joker. When they cross the line, it'll be 3 to go. Oh, just running wide there, Nibbles. Hanging on, though. Trying to get into the slipstream of Joker in that Genesis. Oh, but it's not a great run through the corner, but it's an okay run off the exit. He'll get away with it. Sorry. Harry Mott looking really good at the moment. 4.5 minutes to go. 3 laps. He's got 3 seconds lap in hand. I think he's got it done. He's pulled off a ridiculous strategy. 31.6 for Joker. 31.1 for Nibbles. It's half a second on that lap. They've both got way more tyre left than I think they thought. It's more than half for Joker. Just under half now with 3 laps to go. And Nibbles, probably in worse condition on tyres. But they are a grippier tyre. And he's going to have to do something really special here if he wants to beat Joker. But I think Joker's going to do enough in second or third position for AequepaX Racing to take third in the championship standings. So regardless how this plays out, they've done a great job here in this second stint to finish out with a clutch out a championship position with a great run here, which should have been a race winning potential run. But Harry Mott's strategy, just doing ridiculous nonsense with his lead, despite throwing it off the road and losing 10 seconds. If he'd done that, I don't think we would have found ourselves here. I think he would have taken the aggressive strategy, gone with softs and just rounded them up by being as fast and aggressive as possible, while these guys have to sort of look after tyres. And it's now slipstream, but he's just fallen out of slipstream. So that exit really hurting Nibbles there, and it's now under 0.8, but he's not quite got slipstream just yet. It's 7.5 seconds with 2 laps remaining to the lead. Harry Mott has got 3.5, nearly 4 seconds a lap to lose. I think he's got it done. But we'll stay here for the fight for the podium. Joker trying to hang on. He actually gets a better run through turns 1 and 2 than Nibbles, but through turn 3, Nibbles has more grip and is able to take time out of Joker, but he still doesn't get in the slipstream. Slightly better run, but again losing ground on the exit. Nibbles' rear tyre wear is worse than Joker's front tyre. It's now 8.5 seconds, but here's where he's going to lose a lot of ground. Swift saying he thinks we've reached the cliff. This is where Joker's pace did fall off last time. I will agree. It's now 0.6. Because Joker will be losing all the ground in here, but does the Stocilla car have enough grip off the corners to get a run? Because it's all well and good being fast in those low-speed corners, but if you can't get off the corner onto the straight, you won't be able to get past. And with 6 seconds in hand, I think Harry Mott's done it. But we'll stay on board here for the fight. It's 0.5, and it's not really gaining. He's going to have 1 more lap to get it done for Stocilla Racing Team. Harry Mott, heaps of fuel, heaps of tyre, easily done. His pace has been 32s and 33s. He's got this one in the bag without an error. We now see Stocilla and AequepaX Racing, the final 2 spots on the podium, but in which order? A great run for Nibbles. He's got an excellent run off the corner, a better run through 3. He's going to have the speed down the straight. It's 0.3. It's 2.5, but he's not really gaining, even though he had a better run and slipstream. Nibbles unable to get up the inside to make a run on Joker, but this is going to be, he gets a sloppy run there. This will be his best chance off the back of this long right-hand sweeper to try and sneak up the inside. He knows he's got more rotation, more ability to get the car to the apex here. It's 0.2. Joker runs wide. Nibbles goes to the inside. Doesn't quite get up there, but Joker runs a little wide. He'll be compromised. Will Nibbles just go clean around the outside? He's trying it. Doesn't quite get it done. Tries to do the cutback. He's quicker. Will he go to the inside or will Joker block? Joker blocks, but Nibbles tries anyway, and they make a a little bit of contact, no damage. Joker, again, running wide, unable to get it turned. Nibbles to the outside. He will be able to hold a better line through here, but I don't think it's enough. Will he dive? Will Joker block? No, neither. They don't dive and they don't block. Nibbles does get the better run, though, and he spins. No, it doesn't spin. Big tank sliver, but that'll cost him. That'll be it. Harry Mott will win with 10 litres of fuel in the tank. He saved heaps of fuel to get the job done. 32-4, no dramas. He's pulled off a brilliantly ridiculous strategy, but AequepaX Racing Joker will finish second ahead of the Stosilla Racing team in third. Mr. Slowly snuck across the line there in fifth, a lap down. So we will go find the last man across the line. It's not going to be GT Racer, but he will finish sixth. And unfortunately, that means he will concede a championship position to his rivals. But a great season from Clockwork Motorsport to finish second and fourth. We'll go through all that in a moment. But not a great day for the Corvette, unfortunately for them. But the other Corvette, Speedy Man Charles, nearly a lap ahead of him with a 30.2, fighting Mr. Slowly for fastest lap, sticks at the fence for celebration. But congratulations to Harry Mop in the Clockwork Motorsport car, second overall, first in this race. AequepaX Racing Joseph takes third for the championship, second in this race. But Stosilla Racing Team, another podium for them. Unfortunate not to win this race, could have done so. A couple of mistakes, a little advantage at the start, but third here in the second race. But championship victors. The Scuderia Carrera car, fourth place, and a great lap time fight with Mr. Slowly. Fantastic drive from those two, just taking fastest lap off each other to finish fourth and fifth there. Unfortunately, a lap down for Mr. Slowly, but not that far behind Speedy Man Charles as they were fighting on earlier on, but ahead of GT Racer 22 for the second Clockwork car. Sixth today, fourth in the championship. They won't be too upset about that. They had a really good season in the second half after some early struggles, which really basically just bad strategy in a couple of places, cost them a bunch of positions. But Big Mama bringing it home in seventh place, setting his best lap there on lap 69. Nice job, mate. 6 minutes down, but importantly, at the finish, some brand new tyres at the end, and we're still waiting for the 1 hour and 17-minute final lap from Liam Thurso in the second AequepaX Racing car. The crew still very confused, the Lollipop Man agitated, waiting. But once again, congrats to Harry Mott for a most ridiculous strategy to make half an hour on a tank of fuel and a set of softs. Yes, Sergio Perimop. Well done, Storm Pacer. That is exactly what that is. That was Sergio Perimop. He had a 23-second lead. He knew he wasn't going to make 15 seconds up in the last half hour to try and take the win on raw pace. The minds at Clockwork thought, we can extend this, but instead of going to mediums to do it, they did it on softs because they knew they could save fuel in a more effective way by having corner pace, even if it wasn't maxed. So, brilliant job from them. They've managed to get an entire slowdown lap in. We're still waiting. But it's 2 hours and 3 minutes. There we go. That's it. The race is done. Thank you all for joining us. Oh, God, Harry, what is that? What is that overalls, mate? You're a Clockwork Motorsport driver. Tribute to Ken Block and its sponsors. But thank you all for joining us for the AequepaX Racing GT World Endurance Championship. This was round 8, the final round. This was race 2 of round 8, the final round of the championship. We hope to see you in the next championship. We're not sure when that'll be. The series will be on hiatus for a little bit until we figure out what the next plan is. But thank you all very much for joining us. Again, congratulations to the Stosilla Racing Team for winning the championship. Congratulations to AequepaX for finishing third in the championship, second today here. And congratulations to Harry Mott for winning that race on a ridiculous strategy and claiming second in the championship. The top 3 in the race were the top 3 in the championship, not in that order. But anyway, congratulations everyone for finishing out a fantastic season. Thank you very much to AequepaX Racing and Groot for hosting this series. I am StinksTC. I've been your host on a number of occasions. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining in. And I'll see you all next time.